special.
It's really hot out here. It's really hot.
I get up and fall right to the floor. My life in trouble since I pushed through the door, and I'm praying that it gotta be more. I'm tired of trouble, tired of being so cold. So my space it gotta be more. All the rain and the pain from the storms, I'm just knowing that it gotta be more. Trouble don't last always. That's how the saying goes. Try to stay above the water, try to stay up on my toes. I'm used to throwing bowls, popping weed, taking blows. Got smoke in the air, I still can smell it out my nose. I don't know who's who, who's my brother, friend, or foe. They say bros over hoes, gotta stick to the code. Can't trust either one these days, the world cold. We've been turning on each other since we were captured and sold. No, please, God help us. We were put in this situation for us being selfish, now we helpless. Still gotta play the cards dealt us. Take us down in the delta, back the side out when we felt it. Getting oppressed and felt it. Curses reversing through these verses.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. I'll tell you, good to see y'all. Wish I was sitting in the class with y'all.
So we got Sister James on Facebook, we got Sister Pt.2 on Facebook, Big Rob on Facebook.
Big Rob, Water Peace, Sister Tennis, my brother Charles, my little brother and little sister, my sister Colette, brother Corey, Shalom, he do my brother. Big Rob, my brother, Sister Tia, Shalom, sis. How we been feeling well?
Corey, we just checked in on Facebook.
I can tell when Corey coming. He coming pretty much do the same. Okay.
Now I'm still not a nun, but don't take that as fun, cause it don't equal up. I can't figure out the sum. I need some help, some direction as I run. My life seems heavy, it feels it waste of time. Times being at the bottom, resort in the crumbs. Got me feeling like a bum. Try to move to the beat of the almighty drum and get to Jerusalem where we from. Life is trouble and it gotta be more. I get up and fall right to the floor. My life in trouble since I pushed through the door, and I'm praying that it gotta be more. I'm tired of trouble, tired of being so cold. So my faith is it gotta be more. All the rain and the pain from the storms, I'm just knowing that it gotta be more.
We play one more good people for no time.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. It's early anyway. Don't fall up in here. Live, Ray. We going live.
No, he good.
I'm sorry, chill.
It's your favorite I'm talking all that. I can do that 6 I'm doing all that. Disappointed my home, I had to call that. I missed the call from my friends, I never called back. Plenty love, plenty words, I'm talking all that. I can do the 6 I'm doing all that. Disappointed my home, I had to call that.
You heard it, sis.
I've been on this 6 I'm doing all that. They call it doctrine of a double, well, I'm all that.
They call my head cheat the same, that's why I fall back. They let the negative be them, I know they all count.
Yeah, yo, in my pictures, that's a long stretch. Hanging in the father business, that's the wrong business. If you write
Shabbat Shalom, Michael. Joe Toya Jackson.
Who's that? That's Big Doc. Okay.
Brother Andre Shalom.
What up, Andre?
What's good, bro?
peace. Ain't no beefing with no chicken, I don't miss me. With that part time doing, you can miss me. I can do that 6 with
already done, Hebrew.
What's that?
Brother Corey, who said lift his household up.
Oh yeah, most of them. Great Blake is in the building. What up, Brent? Shabbat shalom, family. Skeeter Davis in the building. Shalom, family. Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
All praise, honor, and great glory is unto our Elohim, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. Once again, to our brothers and sisters in the faith, as always, we salute those that are 10 toes down in this scrap. Get in, get all in, or get all out. Ain't no lukewarm around here. With the blessing and permission of the Most High, we gonna do what we always do, and that's dispensate this word of the Most High power. I got a young lion back in the building,
Shalom, family.
ready to put in this work. I'm your brother T Boogie as always, humble pile of dirt. I stand before you, honored to be able to come before the 12 tribes worldwide.
That's right.
With that, I'm gonna give you the title to. I'm gonna let the young lion do the rest of the talking. I'm gonna do the rest of the reading. Go ahead, my brother.
All right, Shalom, family. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all up in the chat. You know what I'm saying? We got another barn burner today. Now
Yes,
this one's gonna be lengthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm laying out there right now. So if you're gonna cut it off, don't cut it off right now, because this one's gonna be long. We gonna go over, you know what I'm saying, our usual time, but because when you're dealing with history, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be dealing with prophecy. And then dealing with prophecy, you can't just breeze through and speak and explain as a teacher prophecy. You know what I'm saying? It's too much prophecy for you to just speed, read and speed teach through that. So we gonna go through a couple of prophecies and a bunch of history. Like we say, we back on the witness stand. You know what I'm saying? Like I said last week, if we was to go to court, us and a naysayer who's saying that the Bible ain't real, the New Testament is false, Christ is fake, never existed, none of the Jews never believed in Jesus. The Bible is a book of fairy tales.
Yeah.
So if we was in court, guess what? Where your evidence at?
There you go.
Well, last week, you know what I'm saying, we took the stand for the first time. We put a witness on the stand, the former governor of Rome, now deceased, Pontius Pilate. We're going to finish putting them back on the stand with more ancient records called the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now the court's adjourned. Let's pick back over where we left off last week. So last week, we was in the letters of Pontius Pilate. Where first, you know what I'm saying, we read about the spirit of prophecy and the spirit of the Most High that was on the prophets.
Right.
That the scriptures didn't come, you know what I'm saying, by the will of man.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Then we got into how every word of the Most High is tried. It's been tested, purified 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Then we read in Proverbs, there's no wisdom, counsel, or understanding against the Most High.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And today, last week we put the naysayers in the casket. This week, we gonna close that sucker. We gonna slam it and throw the dirt on top of it. After today's lesson, anybody who's of any other belief system other than the Bible should be ashamed of themselves. Should be ashamed of themselves. After part 2 today, oh man, y'all won't have no leg to stand on. You gonna have to go and come on home. You either gonna have to say, you know what, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing, even though I know it's a lie, or you gonna have to come on home and stop playing.
Get all in and get all out.
You have to come on home and stop playing, because the stuff we gonna read out of this book today, oh man, daggers. daggers. But we finished off dealing with how Pontius Pilate was going into the foreign Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The Greek Jews and all that. We read that. We went through 2 Maccabees 4, 7 through 18. We went to Acts 18, 1 Corinthians 10 to show that Paul was dealing with the Israelites in Corinth. We went to Romans, show he was dealing with the Israelites in Rome. We went to Hosea to show the prophecies about Israelites becoming Ezekiel 14 and what else? 35. So what we're gonna pick up today, before matter of fact, before we start, I wanted to read this little quick thing which I forgot to bring last week. This is the Annals of Imperial Rome by Cornelius Tacitus. This was the one that I forgot to read, but we read it on the internet. I'm gonna just read the little excerpt we read last week for a refresher. And this, again, this section is called the Burning of Rome. This happened 3 years before, no, not 3 years. This happened in 64 AD, actually. So a few years before 70 AD, before we was run up out of our land. It says, but neither human resources. Well, remember Nero, it was said that he started the fire and he created scapegoats. And guess who it was? Us. So let's get into it. It says, but neither human resources nor imperial munificence, appeasement of the gods made sinister suspicions that the fire had been instigated to suppress. Nero fabricated scapegoats and punished with every refinement the notoriously depraved Christians, as they were popularly called. Remember, we read last week, it was worded a little differently. It said we was called Christians by the populace. And then we went to that Acts 11 and showed that, right? It says their originator, Christ, had been executed in Tiberius' reign by the governor of Judea, Pontius Pilate. So I just wanted to read that because we read that last week, just a refresher. And then to pick back up where we left off, I'm going into Old Testament history. And this is under the section of the impact of Hellenism on the Jews. And the subtitle that I'm reading from is Hellenism and the Dispersion. General influence. At no time after the Babylonian exile did the majority of the Jews live in Palestine. Many remained in their settlements in Babylon or settled in other parts of the Tigris and Euphrates Valley. Others went to Syria, and where there were Jewish settlements, particularly in Antioch and Damascus, Asia Minor had large Jewish communities. Lydia, Phrygia, Ephesus, Pergamum, and Sardis all had numerous Jews in their population. Check this out. The account of visitors to Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost, Acts 2, and the journeys of the Apostle Paul gives us a significant picture of the settlements of the Jews of the dispersion. So a lot of Israelite camps have you believe that in Acts 2, it was just a bunch of heathens from different nations coming up to keep the Feast of Pentecost. Nah, not so. Not so. Those were all Israelites who were coming from their lands that they were scattered in. And when the fiery tongues came down, every man heard the gospel in the land where he was from and born in.
That's right.
Right? So that puts to bed that lie. It says these Jews remained loyal to the Jerusalem temple. Every male Israelite over the age of 20 was expected to pay his temple dues, and pilgrimages were made whenever possible. Each settlement, however, took on something of the characteristics of its neighbors so that the Jews of Babylon would not have the same attitudes as those of Egypt. Same thing going on with us today. It says those of Palestine would be apt to consider themselves alone truly Orthodox or truly the true so-called Jews who never left home. Right. That's why when we get into when you go look at our old lessons, we show you the distinction between the Jews that were scattered, that took on heathen customs, and the Jews that stayed in Palestine and never left and never took on the heathen customs. They stayed up under the Torah. Right. So it says the most significant group of Jews of the dispersion historically was that of Alexandria. From the initial settlement of the Alexandria, the Jews had formed one of the most important in large segments of the city. Here was the temptation to assimilate to prevailing Hellenistic pattern, and here was also the determination to remain true to the faith.
Come on, man.
A 3rd century BC writer, Hecataeus of Abdera, wrote, in recent times under the former rule of the Persians and then the Macedonians, by whom the Persian Empire was overthrown. So this is a 3rd century BC confirming Bible prophecy, right? And it says, intercourse with other races has led to many other traditional Jewish ordinances losing their hold. Wow. All right. So I just wanted to read that just to close out that section on what we was going through with the Israelite strangers and all that. So let's go into the next section. Let's go into the let's go ahead and jump right on into meeting with Caiaphas.
All right.
Let's go on and jump right on into meeting with Caiaphas. Let's get into this. Let me get my screen share together. Bro, with you, bro. Meeting with Caiaphas. Here we go. All right, let me blow this up. Go back. All right, I'm finna screen share this. Hold on. What? The cult? Somebody boot Nick, whoever this Nick is, up out of here. Matter of fact, you booted. This ain't no cult. Watch from a distance. Don't come in. Let's go to meeting with Caiaphas. Boy, Hashatan trying me early. You can watch in silence.
Yeah.
Meeting with Caiaphas. All right. It says, we are duly installed and I am hard at work. I sit from morning to night studying reports from every quarter of Judea, going into accounts. Give me 1 second. Let me flip to it in this book. Okay, here we go. It says, going into accounts and listening to petitions. I really believe that for the last 12 months, Valerius must have saved up every difficult and disagreeable question for me to settle. There is no end to the disputes between Greeks, Jews, Samaritans and Jews, Idumeans and Jews, and Jews and Jews. All of them are described as important. There is a fine crop of trouble for me, however I decide them. I suppose that I shall do the same by my successor when my turn comes. My reception was fairly good, but the non-Jews were much more cordial than the Jews. The Jews in the streets were cool and unresponsive. Marcius says that Valerius has ruled them so gently that they see no reason to hope for much from me. They will be more enthusiastic, he added, about your successor. When I reached the palace, I found the high officials gathered to welcome me, my own staff, representatives of the 2 Herods, and the high priest from Jerusalem. The high priest is one Joseph Caiaphas. Now,
Chill out.
Where do we hear that name from? Don't we hear that name in the scripture, Caiaphas?
Mm-hmm. Chill
Look,
out.
we got another one up in here. What denomination is this? Who is these brothers, man? Look, get out of here. Can y'all see that? I know they said the picture is a little blurry. It's blurry.
Hold on.
It's good.
I think it's blurry on Facebook. What is getting blurry?
Let us know if y'all can see that.
It's not. Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
blurry
It
on
may just
Facebook.
be the feed.
It may be Facebook, y'all.
It may be Facebook because it ain't blurry on YouTube.
Oh, okay. It ain't blurry on YouTube. I did what I need you to do. On the screen share. Okay, the team said clear on both platforms. Good. Okay, we good. I just need you to scroll for me. I'm gonna read from my book.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need you to scroll for me. All right. So he says that as he's arriving right to Judea, guess who's there to meet him at the front door?
Chill out.
With 2 of the Herods, the high priest.
So he with
Caiaphas.
Idumean.
Oh yeah, and we gonna show that later on how the Herodian Pharisees was riding together.
Mm-hmm.
So he's okay. So let's go to Luke 3.
Luke 3.
Let's go to Luke 3. Luke chapter 3. Let's go to Luke chapter 3. He said Caiaphas.
Sell out Negro.
We just gonna go here, then we finna jump right back. We ain't finna read nothing. Yeah, I just want everybody to be at Luke 3 when we get ready to read. So let's finish reading this. Let's finish reading this letters of Pontius Pilate out. Let's finish reading this section out. So he says Caiaphas was there to meet him. It says the high priest is one Joseph Caiaphas. You see what we get? Boom. Right
Okay, I got you.
All right, y'all ready? It says he is a tall man. Mm-hmm. Imposing in appearance, suave in manner, and I should say of supple mind. So he said he was a supple-minded Negro. When you look up supple, it means bendable, flexible, conforming,
being and break.
Right. So he didn't have no backbone. Right. So when you look at the high priest and the Pharisee, these was the type of men you was dealing with. No backbone. Right. He said a supple mind. He said I observed that his mere presence had a great impression on everyone. There had been a great discussion whether he would come to Caesarea or wait at Jerusalem until I paid my first visit there. Had he not come, I should certainly have taken it amiss, for it would have been a plain sign of hostility. So back then in the ancient world, people knew that when great rulers came, if you respected that ruler, you would meet him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But if you didn't respect him and you didn't show up, you not showing up with a been all the messages. Okay, I know what I'm up against. It's hostility. So instead of being just like his brothers, like all the other Jews, we gonna constantly read how we didn't welcome them heathens in our land. We didn't welcome them at all. We didn't welcome them at all. So he goes to meet this heathen. He front and center, right? This is Caiaphas. It says, on the other hand, he came alone. No ex-high priest, and there are several living, came with him, especially neither Annas nor any of his sons was there. This Annas and his sons, I should tell you, are the most powerful of the priestly families at Jerusalem. For years, they have either held the high offices or made it difficult for anyone else to hold them. Old Annas himself was high priest when Valerius came here, and Valerius found him impossible. He merely wants the protection of Rome so that he can go his own way in everything. Valerius transferred the office to a member of another family, but the experiment was a failure. Then appointed one of Annas' sons, but that was like having the old man back again. Once more, he appointed a rival priest, and once more the rival was not strong enough. So he chose Caiaphas, who was Annas' son-in-law, hoping that the ambitious crew would regard this enough of prestige and the influence for the family, and that Caiaphas would be willing and able to hold his own against them. It is not, do you think, a bad arrangement? Caiaphas keeps the peace with us and the office in the family. Annas and his sons stand a little farther off and hold the support of those who think Caiaphas is too subservient. At least all of them alike, officer holders and office seekers. Office holders and office seekers.
Ladder climbers.
Except the Romans. The last thing that any of them wants is a clash with Rome that will destroy their own power. Caiaphas, at the public ceremony, merely said, the Jews greet the representative of Caesar. He a lie. A chilly welcome, but afterwards in private, he was more communicative. He told me that he regarded it as his duty to work with the Romans. He said that his people, as he hoped I knew, were passionately attached to their independence, but that he and the great Jewish families recognized that they could not struggle against Rome. He said that the thing that he always feared was a popular rising, which he and his friends checked time. I think that's all I wanted.
So you want to know?
Yeah. Boom. That's all I wanted on that right there. That's all I wanted on. No, it ain't. We're going to keep reading. We're going to keep reading on that. I'm sorry. It says, this country, he said, is very difficult to control. It is full of mountains and desolate tracts in which evil disposed or ambitious persons cannot be prevented from gathering, and from which they can sally out to make trouble in the towns. There had, after the death of Herod, been several instances of adventurers who gather a band of people about them and actually set themselves up for king. One of them might be a mere bandit. Another might be a political rebel against any sort of foreign rule. So you had brothers, you had revolutionary periods rising up all throughout Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see with MLK,
Mm-hmm.
you saw with Malcolm X, what's the boy Harvey?
Yeah, Marcus Garvey,
I mean. And Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton. And one thing all them men had in common, y'all, even though none of them men were pumping the scriptures, one thing all them men had in common was they was a threat to the system. Because if they won, then why were all of them killed? Why were all of them killed by the government if neither one of them were threats? You can say what you want about MLK. He was a threat. He was a threat. Malcolm X, I don't agree with that doctrine, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? It says one of them might be a mere bandit. Another might be a political rebel against any sort of foreign rule. The third might presume to lay down the law about religion. In any event, there was danger. The common people were extremely ignorant. I was amused to see the contempt with which he spoke of them, and any sort of leader with the gift of action or of speech meant to them someone who might restore the liberties which they had once enjoyed. So he said, speaking very quietly, you have to remember that all Jews believe that someday, a distant day, I am afraid, this with a smile, a deliverer will arise who will restore the ancient glories of our people. I do not pretend to understand their religion, but I gather that the coming of this deliverer, Messiah he called him, will be incompatible with government by Rome or by any other power. I must ask Alexander about this. Remember, Alexander was his little coon Israelite he had, you know what I'm saying, his good old boy.
Bootleg.
Right? He said the voice of Caiaphas was equable, almost casual as he talked to me. I take it that he and his friends will support no rivals, be they kings or messiahs, who endangered their authority under Caesar's government. All right, so let's go to Luke 3. Let's go. You can go back to the stream. All right, so let's go to Luke chapter 3. Annas and Caiaphas, right? So let's go to Luke 3 and read verses 1 through 2. Luke 3, read verses 1 through 2.
Now, the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being you good?
Yeah.
Being governor of Judea.
Oh, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea. Go ahead.
And Herod being tetrarch of Galilee. And his brother Philip tetrarch over Iturea.
Yeah.
And of the regions of Trihoptites. That's how you pronounce it. And Lysanus, the tetrarch of Abilene. Annas and Caiaphas.
Who?
Annas and Caiaphas.
Yes, sir.
Being the high priest.
Wow.
The word of Yah came unto John, the son of Zacharias, in the wilderness.
All right, so here we see in Luke chapter 3, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea. Right? So it ain't none of this. We ain't making none of this stuff up. Then right here it says Annas and who?
Caiaphas.
And Caiaphas being the high priest that year. All right, so then he mentions about the people looking for a Messiah. Wow, so the people were expecting a Messiah at this time. They were looking for one. So let's look at a prophecy. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9.
All right.
Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. He used the word Messiah. Deliverer, huh? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. We're not going to deal with every nuance of this prophecy. We're gonna touch on it. We for sure gonna get into it though. We in Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. When you get it, go ahead.
70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sin.
Okay, so we got 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. When you read back, Daniel was praying for the restoration of Israel, right? And it was what, 70 years? This was a double prophecy.
That's right, brother.
One fulfillment of it was 70 years until they return from Babylon.
There you go.
And then this one's 70 years. It's going
prophetic
years. You see what I'm saying? Now he finna reel off like six events that gotta happen within 70 prophetic years. So you got 70 prophetic years. 1 week equals 7 years. So you do 7 times 7, that's 490 years, right?
That's right.
That's 490 years. I keep reading.
To finish the transgression.
Yeah.
And to make an end of sin.
Okay, so you got to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins. Go ahead.
To make a reconciliation for iniquity.
That's 3.
And bring an end and everlasting righteousness.
4.
And to seal up the vision and prophecy.
Oh, go ahead.
And to anoint the most holy.
You see that fifth one is major.
Come on now.
That says to seal the vision and the prophecy. So to validate the vision and the prophecy about Messiah. So he's basically saying in this one verse, within this 490 years, these 6 things have to scratch the surface. Within this 490 years, keep reading.
Verse 25.
Yeah.
Now therefore, and understand from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks.
Shall be 7 weeks. Go ahead.
And 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Messiah be cut off. So this is why the people were expecting the Messiah. Because right here, this prophecy says 70 weeks are determined. Then it says that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, unto them the Messiah Prince shall be 7 weeks. You see that? So from the time this prophecy started, to the time that the temple was destroyed, the Messiah had to come and be cut off. Within that time period.
In the midst of the week.
In the midst of it. Now, you had a couple of decrees go out to rebuild Jerusalem. You had Darius, you had Cyrus, but the actual work started after Artaxerxes, which you can read in Ezra chapter 7. And most dates, when you look at history, most dates they line it up right around 457 BC. So from when they start building, from that time to the time that second temple was destroyed in 70 AD, the Messiah had to come, and those 6 things in that 24th verse had to scratch the surface before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD.
There you go.
This is why we read in the letters of Pontius Pilate, the people were expecting the Messiah. Keep reading. 26
again.
Yeah.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. Not for himself. And the people of the Prince shall come. Shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood, and unto the end of the war, desolations are determined.
Go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, go he ahead. Shall call the sacrifices and the oblations to cease.
Yes, sir.
And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate.
Yes, sir.
Even until the consummation the earth shall be poured upon the desert.
So the prophecy isn't finished.
Nope.
The prophecy isn't finished. So we finna get into a few of these 6 things that he named in verse 24.
That's right.
So let's do the first one. It says to finish the transition. Let's see what he means. Let's go to Matthew 23. Hold your spot. Let's see what he mean. What he mean to finish the transgression. What do you mean? Let's go to Matthew 23. Matthew 23, and let's do 32 through 36. No. Let's do 28 through 36. 28 through 36. Because the Messiah said the generation that rejected him, which was the one he was in while he was doing his ministry. He said the generation that rejected him, they finished the measure. They finished the measure of the transgression so that come on that generation. You see, we read in Ezra, which is Ezra. He tells you that the Most High done measured all the time. He done said everything in his time.
That's right.
And everything is going to happen in his time. And he don't move or shake it for nobody. Right? So we finna read something right here. Let's 27. Yeah, go ahead. 27. Matthew 23, 27 through 36.
Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites!
Yeah.
For ye are like whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead men bones, and of all unclean. Even so outwardly, even ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
Do you hear these hypocrites?
Straight God.
You see that? So you clean the tombs of the prophets whom your fathers killed. You want to know how they the children of the people who killed the prophets? Because the main prophet was right in front of their face and they denied.
Yes, sir.
And right out their mouth, the hypocrites, they'll say right out their mouth, if that was back then, we wouldn't have done that. You a lie because you're doing it now.
That's right.
You doing it now. Anybody who denies Messiah is children of those wicked ones who denied and killed the prophet.
That's right.
Go ahead.
31. Wherefore, ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophet. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers.
So their fathers who started off killing the prophets started off the measure. And the ones who rejected the main prophet in his day finished the measure off.
There you go.
So the transgression climaxed in their generation is what they're saying. Go ahead.
32, 3, I'm sorry, 33.
Read 32 over again.
Okay. Fill ye up then the measure of your father, ye serpents, ye generation of vipers.
Yeah.
How can ye escape? For behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men in the scribes. And ye shall kill and crucify. And some of them ye shall scourge in synagogues and persecute them from city to city, that upon may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, blood of righteous Abel, unto the blood of Zachariah, son of Berechiah, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation.
You see that? All these things shall come upon this. Let's go to Genesis 14. Genesis 15. Look at another spot dealing with this filling up the measure.
Yes, sir.
Genesis 15. Genesis 15, let's do 13 through 16. 13 through 16.
Genesis 15, verse 13. And he said to Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation.
In the what?
In the fourth generation, they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is yet not full.
You see how the Most High works. See, when some according to his time is not ready, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
right? And he'll wait till you feel that measure of iniquity all the way up until he come judge you. You might not be judged for it right then. It may be 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
You got to fill it up.
You got to fill it up. So when he says to finish the transgression, that's what he's talking about. Let's go. And the second one says what? To put an end to sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3. Page 2. Yeah. 1 John chapter 3. I'm gonna read 4 through 8. 4 through 8. Yeah.
Yep, that was you want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoso committed sin transgresses also the law.
Mm-hmm.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Yeah.
And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins.
You see that? He was manifested to take away our sins. Right? Go ahead.
And in him is no Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth has not seen him.
You see that? That's clear cut. Whosoever sinneth, it says, whosoever abideth in him, whosoever continues in Christ, sinneth not. Go ahead.
Neither known him, little children. Let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
Period. Like that area with that.
No, sir.
Go ahead.
He that committed sin is of the devil.
Period. Go ahead.
For the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose, the Son of Yah,
the who?
The Son of the Most High Power, Yod-Heh, Wav-Heh,
yeah, was
manifested that he might destroy the works of Hashatan.
So this was fulfilled or accomplished in Messiah. Says 1 John chapter 3, verse 8. It says he was manifested that he might destroy the works of the devil. You see that? To undo everything Hashatan had came and done. Right? To give you that free way back to the Father. To show you that example that you can keep the law perfectly. You can live in this flesh and not sin.
Come on now.
You see that? He by him coming and living that perfect example, that gave us the victory. That gave us the pathway to do that. Right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10. Let's get a precept. Let's get a precept. Hebrews 10. Pick it up at verse. Let me see why I won't. Verse 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Hebrews 10 and 10. By the which we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yeshua HaMashiach once for all.
Yeah.
Increase standing daily ministry. Oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sin. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Yah. He
had one sacrifice for what?
One sacrifice for sin.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Go ahead.
Sat down on the right hand of Yah.
Yeah.
From henceforth expect until his enemies be made his footstool. For by one offering he has perfected forever them that are sanctified. Wherefore the Ruach HaKodesh also is a witness to us. For after that he had said before, this is the covenant I will make with them after those days. Said Yah, I will put my laws in their minds, and in their minds I will write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Now, where remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin.
Now, if your iniquities is blotted out and you have a mind to always serve the Most High, that's everlasting righteousness, right? One of the things they said that he was going to do in that Daniel 9 was to do what? Bring in everlasting righteousness.
Right. Make an end of iniquity.
So, okay, so when was the new covenant instituted?
Come on now.
The night of Passover.
Come on now.
You see, all this was fulfilled in Messiah before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. So if he's not Messiah, then we need somebody who came and did this before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD.
But David
was dead. Long gone. So another one was what? To atone for iniquity.
That's right.
Right? And these first three kind of run hand in hand. But we just showing different scriptures. Let's go to Hebrews. Let's go to Leviticus 17.
Right.
It says to atone for iniquity. So the Messiah that will come, one of the things he would do within these 490 years would be to atone for iniquity. Leviticus 17. Let's go look at something in the law real quick. Verse 11. Verse 10 and 11.
And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood.
Oh, so he gonna set his face against you if you eat blood. Go ahead.
And I will cut them off from among his people.
Yeah.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
What's in the blood?
The life of the flesh.
What's that four-letter word? The life.
Mm-hmm.
Life is in the blood. Do y'all understand that? So when you get into the New Testament and you start seeing stuff like in the blood of Yahushua, the grace, the blood, that's where your life comes from. That's where your eternal life comes from.
Come on, brother.
So if you don't believe in Messiah, if you think he's a made-up character, then you don't have life because you have to have his blood over you. Go ahead.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
Yeah.
And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh atonement for the soul.
So not the animal itself is what made the atonement. Not you killing the animal didn't make the atonement. It was that blood that was shed from that animal. So now that the Levitical priesthood is done away with for right now, it's invalid. Yeshua's on the scene, but I don't believe in Yeshua. And Yeshua shed his blood. So, and the life is in the blood. And the Levitical priesthood is non-effective. So where's your life?
You ain't got none.
Where's your life? Now you see why the Messiah say he don't believe on me is damned already. You don't have any life.
That's right.
Because the life is in the blood that he shed. Okay, so now let's go to Exodus 24. Let's go look at and see how the old covenant was sealed. Let's go see how the old covenant was sealed. So we see to finish the transgression, we got a meaning of that, right? To put an end to sin, got a meaning of that. To atone for iniquity, we running that down.
Yep.
Let's go to Exodus 24. Pick it up at verse 7, read down 7 through 12.
And he took the book of the covenant.
No, verse 6. Pick it up at 6.
All right. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood and sprinkled on the altar. He sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahweh have said, we will do and be obedient.
Wow, go ahead.
And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold the blood of the covenant, which Yahweh had made with you concerning all these words.
Notice he not taking the actual animal and throwing it on the people. Right? He's taking the life source.
Right.
The blood. Go ahead.
9. Then went up Moshe and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the power of the Elohim of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw the Elohim, and did eat and drink.
Yeah.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, come up to me into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and the law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them.
That was it on that?
That's it, brother.
1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. So if he didn't, this is why the people were expecting the Messiah. because they read the prophecies. Now, it was a bunch of things they didn't understand. They didn't understand that he would have two comings.
Right.
That's why a lot of times Messiah would have to get him a parable about a householder who went to a far country on a far journey.
That's right.
And then one day he came back trying to get them to understand that, hey, I got to leave and come back. Then I'm going to restore Israel.
There you go.
Because they were looking for him when he rode to Jerusalem on a donkey. They were looking for him to put the Romans down then.
Yeah, they wanted to lay flat right then.
They wanted to lay flat right then. And his disciples asked him right before his ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you finna get a kingdom back over to Israel? He said, it ain't for y'all to know them
right.
times.
That's right.
Just do the work I gave y'all to do right now. So John chapter 2, 1 through 2.
My little children, these things I write unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Abba, Yeshua HaMashiach, the righteous.
We have a what?
We have an advocate.
Okay.
With the Abba,
Yeah.
Yeshua HaMashiach, the righteous.
Uh-huh.
And he is the propitiation for our sins.
He is the what?
He is the offering and sacrifice for our
You
sins.
see that? We finna get this word propitiation. Elder just told you, but we finna look it up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We finna look it up anyway. Let me screen share. I'm getting quicker at this. Well, not quite. Hold on. Screen share. I'm getting a little quick at it. Boom. There we go. All right. So that was propitiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's G2434. And it says, in appeasing.
Mm-hmm.
What's being appeased? I wanted the wrath of the Most High.
That's right.
Propitiation, means of appeasing, propitiation, Strong's definitions. Atonement, do y'all see that? Atonement. So who was the Messiah spoken about in Daniel 9 that was supposed to do those 6 things?
That's right, brother.
Right? And expiator, propitiation. All right, so let's get back to it.
Okay.
Let's get back to it. Go ahead.
Verse 2 again.
Yeah.
And he is the propitiation for our sin, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world.
That's right. All right. Hebrews 9. Hebrews 9, last spot. Then we're going to go to the next one. And then we're going to, you know what I'm saying? I just want to hit a few of those just to show. Like, come on now. We know who the Messiah is around here.
That's right.
What I say? Hebrews 9.
Yes, sir.
Verse, let's get verse 12. I just want verse 12.
Neither by the blood of goats and of calves, but of his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
All right. Then another one was what? To bring in what? Everlasting righteousness.
There you go.
So when, let's see the time and point that the new covenant officially started, was brought in, right? We still in transition to get to the fullness of it. Let's go to Matthew 26. Messiah fulfilled he started all of this before he was crucified.
And he gonna end it when he get back.
And he gonna end it when he get back. When you looking at Daniel 9, 24 through 27, all those promises scratch the surface at the first coming of Messiah. And they gonna be fulfilled in fullness at his return. All right. Let's do Matthew 26 through 28. 26 through 28. Let's see when everlasting righteousness was brought in. Go ahead.
And as they were eating, Yeshua took bread and blessed it.
Yeah.
And break it. Excuse me. And gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat. This is my body. And he took the cup and gave it and gave them saying, "Drink all of it. This is
the New Testament. Right. So he said,
which is shed for men for the remission of sin. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink new with you in my Abba's kingdom."
All right. So he brought in, that was the night the new covenant was initiated.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? Then we go to Hebrews 8. Let's go there next.
All right.
Let's go to Hebrews 8. Go to Hebrews 8. We just read it in Hebrews 10. Let's read it one more time. Read it one more time. Hebrews 8. Pick it up at verse 7. Now verse 6.
Okay. But now he hath attained a more excellent ministry. But how much also is he the mediator of a better covenant?
Why is it better than the old? Go ahead.
Which was established upon better promises.
Better promises. You see that? So the new covenant, better promises, better priesthood, better high priest.
Yes, sir.
All of it.
Yes, sir.
All of it is just better. And the see, people get it. The old and new is really not new, it's renewed.
Come on now.
That's really the best name, the renewed covenant.
There
because it's
same
people
covenant.
hear new covenant and think, oh, okay,
it's different.
New regulation.
Yeah, and it's different.
Nah. Renewed covenant, same law, same people, different priesthood, different high priests.
Right.
Go ahead. Better promises. Go ahead.
Verse 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless,
yeah,
then should no place have been sought for the second. And finding fault with them.
Yeah. How we do that?
Hold on, y'all.
Appreciate that word of people.
Hold on, bro.
Yes, he say, boy, we grind through these speakers. He said, cut the volume down on the laptop a little bit.
Hold on. We gonna get this here. I forgot I turned it down last night because I had mine up. And then wait a minute, that ain't what I want. Hold on, we're gonna get this.
Got settings down there.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking for settings right there. Here we go. Y'all can't hear my big mouth? Can't believe that.
It went up.
It went up. There it is right there. All right. Now let's go back to this. Nope, let's go back to this. No, that ain't what I want either.
You ain't exit out of it, did you?
No, I don't think I did. I hope I didn't.
Let me see.
What's this? There you.
Okay.
That's it right there?
Yeah, we still up. All right, so hopefully we good. He said turn it down. We turned it up.
Oh, he said turn it down. It was down.
It was down, Hebrew. I don't know what's going on. We too loud? The mic on the camera.
Man, I don't know where the mic on the camera is, bro.
I don't know, bro. Can y'all hear us?
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Yeah, we even mess with that. We be all jacked up in.
All right, so we was at Hebrews.
Y'all turn y'all volume down. Be too loud.
Hebrews 8. Pick it up at verse 7 again.
Hebrews 8 and 7.
Yeah.
For if that first covenant had been faultless,
Mm-hmm.
then should no place have been sought for the second.
Yeah.
For finding fault with them,
Mm.
he said, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah, not according to the covenant I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Mitzrayim,
Yeah.
because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said Yahweh. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said Yahweh. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Elohim, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. You
see that? So that's everybody is going to have a mind. Everybody's going to have a mind to serve the Most High. That's everlasting righteousness. Every Israelite that's going to be accepted in that day is going to have a willingness to serve the Most High. Right? That's everlasting righteousness. And your transgressions is going to be white clean. He's not going to remember them no more. So when did he first initiate this new covenant? We just read it, Matthew 26 through 28.
That's right.
Go ahead, finish reading that out.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. And that he said a new covenant he has made the first old.
See, go ahead.
Now that which decayeth and waxes old is ready to vanish away.
You see that? So he's saying the it's ready to vanish away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's in the process of vanishing away as we move towards this perfect mindset that we waiting for. That we won't have to be doing YouTube videos no more. Right? Putting lessons together and doing all that. Let's go to the next spot. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5. If everybody getting some understanding, put a 7 up in the room. Because Pontius Pilate made the statement that the people was looking for a Messiah, right?
That's right.
So we went to the prophecies, Daniel, and read Daniel 9:24 through 27, and it mentioned a Messiah, did it not? Right, and it mentioned 490 years and 6 things that had to happen within that 490 years before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. Now, was Messiah cut off before the destruction of the temple in 70 AD?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
in the midst of the week.
In the midst of the week.
Literal week, prophetic week. And he gonna come back even in the midst of those 490 prophetic weeks.
And seal the prophecy.
There you go.
Seal the prophecy up.
3 levels. You
see that? This thing airtight, man. You can't see this. You can't get around this. You can't get around this. Let's go to what I say. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Read me one verse 21. Verse 21. Verse 21. Go ahead.
For he has made him to be sin for us, who knew no sin.
Yeah.
That we might be made the righteousness of Yah.
That we may be made the what?
The righteousness of Yah in him.
Now, ain't the Father and the Son everlasting?
That's right.
So if we may be made the righteousness, what type of righteousness is that?
Everlasting, my brother.
What was one of his missions in Daniel 9:24?
To bring in everlasting righteousness. That's right.
So did he do that the night of Passover?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know.
Yes, sir.
That's all I wanted to know. So you know what? Let's move on. Let's drop that because we're gonna get into that in another lesson. We really get into like the Antichrist and all that. We're really gonna dig into that 4th beast. Let's go to another spot, Luke 2. Luke 2. Let's go see other people anticipating the Messiah. Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2, we're going to pick it up at verse 25. No, pick it up at 21.
All right.
Go ahead.
And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Yeshua.
What was it called?
Yeshua.
Yes, sir.
Which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of purification according to the law of Moshe were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to Yahweh. As it is written in the law of Yahweh, every male that opens the womb shall be called holy unto Elohim, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of Yahweh, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
Also, they keeping the law, right? That's Exodus 13:2. But hold your spot right here. Let's go to Galatians 4. Let's go look at something real quick. Yeah, we gonna be hearing some scriptures today, so get ready to flip. Galatians 4:4. Galatians 4:4. You say that ain't Messiah? He had to do all that even though he was Messiah?
That's right.
That's right.
No fault.
That's right.
No fault can be found in him.
That's right. Or he wouldn't have been our unblemished lamb.
That's right.
Galatians 4:4.
But when the fullness of time was come.
Notice that said the fullness of time was come. Here we dealing with the Most High and how he do things.
Right.
He had some stored up since the beginning of time, but bring it out in a certain era. You see what I'm saying? He had a Messiah put up since the foundation of the world,
and he
didn't manifest until this time.
Yes, sir.
So when the fullness of time was come, go ahead.
Yah sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law.
Made under the law. So that means he was subject to every precept of the Torah. Right? And notice it said fullness of times. Let's go look at something. Well, let's go to Isaiah 49. We're going to go back to that Luke 2 after this.
Right.
Isaiah 49. it said when the fullness of time was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now watch this. Isaiah 49, 1 through 2.
Listen, O Isle,
Uh-huh.
unto me, and hearken ye people from far.
Mm.
Yahweh has called me from the womb.
Mm.
From the bowels of my mother have he mentioned of my name. Has he made mention of my name?
Let's see what you talking about. Go ahead.
And he has made my mouth like a sharp sword.
Ooh, so who is this?
Yes, sir.
We can read in Revelation 1, verse 16, who that is.
Mm-hmm.
He made my mouth like a sharp sword. Then
Yeah.
you read in Isaiah 11, he's giving me the tongue of the learned.
That's right.
That's why nobody was ever able to catch him slipping. When they tried to come trick him and deceive him with their questions, you can't. His father gave him the tongue of the learned. He already got a response for your question. Go ahead.
He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand have he hid me.
Oh, it said he was hidden. Messiah was hidden. Right? Go ahead.
And made me a polished shaft.
A polished shaft, that would be like an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Psalms 110, it's like he gonna strike through kings.
That's right, brother.
Then right here it's calling him a polished arrow, a shaft. Go ahead.
In his quiver have he hid me.
So the father the son was hidden with the father until what? The fullness of the
Full
time.
time to come, bro.
You see, so you can't get around the prophecies.
Ain't no way.
You can't get around it. So the fullness of the times hints at, well, the Messiah was hidden at one point in time. And people were looking for him.
That's right.
You see that? It all correlates. Right? Let's go back to that Luke 2. Luke 2. Just wanted to show that. Go ahead. Pick it up at, what was it, verse 23?
Verse 23.
Okay.
As it is written
Yeah.
in the law of your house, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy unto your house.
Mm.
And to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of your house.
Mm.
A pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
Yeah.
And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon.
Mm.
And the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel.
What was he doing?
Waiting for the consolation of Israel.
You see that? So if you waiting for the consolation of Israel, that means you're not in love.
That's right.
Because if you want to see the consolation of Israel, that means you must be waiting to see the fall of this place. That means he must been waiting to see the fall of Rome if he had been waiting for the consolation of Israel. So you can't be on both sides of the fence.
No,
you can't want to see the rise of Israel and then in the same breath pray, oh, dear Lord, just please protect Mr. Trump. He gave us a $1,200 stimulus. Please protect him. No, he got to go too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And of the Holy Ghost was upon, and the Holy Ghost or Ruach HaKodesh was upon him.
Mm.
And it was revealed unto him by the Ruach HaKodesh.
Yeah.
That he should not see death before he had seen the Master's Messiah or Hamashiach.
So we seeing a brother, a regular brother Israelite who was devout though.
Come on now.
Expecting what? A Messiah. So we see Pilate is not lying.
Come on now.
Go ahead.
And he came by the Spirit to the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Yeshua to do for him after the custom of the law, then took he him up in his arms and blessed Yah and said, Master, now let thy servant depart in peace. Woo! According to thy word.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. For mine eyes have seen thy salvation.
For thine eyes have seen thy salvation. You see that? So, and then when you read in the Torah, a lot of times when you see the word salvation in the Old Testament, if you look it up, guess what it's going to say?
What it's going to say, brother?
Yeshua.
Come on now.
So when we was in Egypt and Moses said, stand back and see the salvation of your God, who was he talking about?
Come on now.
Paul confirmed it. He was the rock that followed us through Egypt.
Come on, brother.
And that rock was Yeshua, was Christ, or Mashiach.
Come on now.
His presence always been with his people.
Yes, sir.
That was it on that.
Would you want down to 30?
Read down to 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're at 31 then.
Okay.
Which thou hast prepared before the face of all people, a light to lighten the Gentile, and the glory of all of other people of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay, let's go to the next section in the letters of Pontius Pilate. I know y'all like, finally, this Negro talk to me.
You gonna scroll?
Nah, yeah, you can scroll. I'm just going to the section.
Okay.
But they like, finally, this Negro finna shut his mouth. But nah, we going to the decision to visit Jerusalem. Y'all, I think this is the part that tickled me this morning. I was reading this. The decision to visit Jerusalem. So this heathen finally decides, okay, I'm finna go up here.
See what these Negroes talking about.
And y'all, this probably was one of the most funniest parts of the book to me because he had Israel all messed up. Let me make sure I got this screen shared, and no, I don't. Let me add this. There you go. All right, the decision to visit Jerusalem. All right, it says, I have decided to go up to Jerusalem shortly. Here I see next to nothing of my Jews. Caesarea is full of Greeks, Syrians, Phoenicians, Egyptians, and all that sort of rabble. There are many Jews, it is true, but they are of the common sort, traders, moneylenders, and the like. The men who count are at Jerusalem. It might be thousands of miles away, though it is just up in the hills. Caiaphas is careful to keep in touch with me, but so far as most of them are concerned, I might not exist at all. I am going up, therefore, to make the acquaintance of Annas and his friends. Besides, I want to see their headquarters, the nest in which they harbor their seditions, if any be there, the stronghold which, according to Marcius, will give even Rome no little trouble if ever they should defy us. I must take a look at the defenses and consider how my little garrison will be situated if there should be a rising. The roads too, and the water supply. You will commend me for this. I know these things are always bad until the Romans take them in hand. Also, I am curious to see their temple. Though I suppose they will hardly let me take a look at it, I must find out where they keep the temple money, if only to protect it against robbers. Yeah, right, heathen. You need not suspect me. I should not emulate Crassus or Sabinius.
Yeah, right.
But you know that if anyone raided their treasury, I would get the blame. Of course you would. I assure you, I am ready to get on with them, but I must find out what sort of people they are and what they are doing. Here in Caesarea, I feel that I am cut off from my own province and remain uneasy. Though the chief of my intelligence section reports that all is quiet and no sign of trouble brewing, he, by the way, is a Grecian Samaritan, Joseph by name. Most of his family lost lands and life at the hands of Herod. He hates Herod's sons and he hates the Jews. So he is a useful servant to us. I hope to go to Jerusalem in 3 weeks' time. Now, y'all, this season decides to finally come up to Jerusalem on the Shabbat. Now, y'all know today here in 2020, now, if somebody disturb you on your Shabbat, let's say, now this heathen come to Jerusalem expecting to be patted on the back.
Yeah, no, partner, get up out of here.
Warm welcome, arms raised all up in the air, and confetti and music playing.
Ain't happen. Catch a boat to the
Let's see what happened. Let's skip down. Let's skip down to where it says, I have opened this letter to inform. Go back up right there. So we skip down, y'all. Let's see what happened. This heathen decided to come up to Jerusalem on the Shabbat. I have opened this letter to inform you that Alexander, supported by Marcius, Joseph, and everyone else. So it was a letter sent to him right before he was about to leave by all his little boys. All right. It says, now tells me that I cannot go up to Jerusalem on the day which I had fixed, because it is the Sabbath of the Jews. It would give deep offense, they say. It would be taken as a deliberate provocation. There would be mourning and protests and perhaps rioting. Rioting on the Sabbath, I said? Surely not. But I suppose they might make an exception and do a little riding. Boy, he knew we wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, he knew we were riders people. Boy, don't come over here. Boy, I wish imagine a heathen knocking on your door, wanting to be, wanting you to bow at his feet. He knock on your door. I'm the great so-and-so, kiss my feet on the Shabbat, boy.
Hey, bite your toe off.
Man, look here. He's gonna be running back with nubs.
Yeah.
So the Israelites weren't having it, as y'all can see.
Right.
And his boys letting him know, hey man, this is you better reconsider this.
Right.
Unless you want some riots to break out. He said, of course, I had to give way. I could tell that at once from Marcia's face, the Sabbath was incredibly sacred to them, he said. They will neither do nor tolerate labor of any kind. You must not do this. You must not do the other. It seems to me there is scarcely anything you can do. I wonder, does their sacred river Jordan flow on the Sabbath or does it take a rest?
Trying to be funny.
So yeah, this heathen in his feelings, he getting sarcastic. I asked Marcius the question. There are some of them, he replied, who will not eat an egg if it is laid on the Shabbat. If you have a wooden leg, I asked, can you walk it out with you upon the Sabbath? Nothing disturbs my Marcius, I believe, he answered. That their learned men are divided on the subject. You see that?
That the Pharisees won't nobody healed on the Sabbath.
That's right. We finna get into that. I could hardly contain myself. Of course, I said, on the Sabbath, they do not perform the functions of nature. This heathen think he funny.
Yeah, he real funny now.
Heathen? Alexander intervened. You are quite right, he said, looking at me with admiration. Some of them do not. I was a little puzzled, but supposing, I said, and then we were interrupted and the subject dropped. So let's get into it. He said the learned men were divided on the Shabbat, right? Now, can we consider the Messiah a learned man of Israel?
There you go.
Hey, Corey, I know you feeling that, Hebrew. I know you feeling it. It's going to be a ride about that Shabbat, ain't it? I know you feeling that, Hebrew.
But look how far we done fallen, though. We do everything on Shabbat now.
Yeah. But that, and when we do have to work, it's good we still had that spirit like we be pissed off about it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because the world, they don't even care. Mm-hmm. They sad everything shut down now.
Oh yeah, they miserable.
They miserable, boy. We happy. But let's go to Matthew 12. Because the Messiah was a learned man of Israel, and he had a different view on the Shabbat than the other learned men of Israel. And that's right, Sister Tannis, and some of us don't even know when the Shabbat is, and the heathen do. And he was told by his men, look, you dare not come up there on the Shabbat. It's going to be a ride up there if you come up there on the Shabbat.
Now we doing everything on the Shabbat.
I know that's right. Let's get it. Matthew 12. Let's do 1 through 14.
And at that time, Yeshua went on the Shabbat day through the corn, and his disciples were at hunger and began to pluck the ears of the corn to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, our disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Shabbat day.
They do what?
That which is not lawful to do upon the Shabbat day.
So you got these type of people in the truth nowadays. Love to tell you what's lawful and what ain't according to they little camp rules.
Shabbat police.
But there's never no scriptures for what they condemning you for, trying to condemn
right.
you for. I want to read some quick detour. I want to read some. This is from Old Testament history. This is from the origin of the Jewish sects under the Pharisees. It says, this is real quick, y'all. It says the attempts at applying the law to new situations were rejected by the Sadducees, who restricted their concept of authority to the Torah or Mosaic law. The medieval Jewish sect Karaite similarly rejected the rabbinical interpretations of Scripture and appealed for a return to the Bible itself as alone valid as the standard of faith. Check this out. To the Pharisees, however, tradition was not simply a commentary upon the law, but was ultimately raised to the level of scripture itself.
She was.
So these brothers' oral traditions was raised to the level of scriptures. And it had people actually thinking you couldn't be made whole or you couldn't go through the cornfields and get corn because you was hungry on the Shabbat. But the law prohibited that. It allowed you to do that.
That's right.
It allowed you, if you were hungry and poor, to go through the cornfields and pick corn.
Yep.
Right? So according to what scripture is him and his disciples breaking the Shabbat?
Not one.
Oh, but because we broke your house rules.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
But he said unto them, have you not read what David did when he was in hunger, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of Yah and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have you not read in the law how that on the Shabbat days the priests in the temple profane the Shabbat?
Wow.
And are blamed?
You see that? Because the priest got a job to do.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? You had sacrifices for the Shabbat
So
that had to be done. It's work being done.
Fire being kindled.
You see that? But the permissive will of the Most High allows it to happen. Don't get buck wild with it.
Come on now.
Just because you got to work on the Shabbat, don't say, oh, the hell with it. I guess I
just get buck wild, do everything.
You know what I'm saying? Order me a pizza or something while I'm here. No. You still keep the Shabbat. Witness to somebody.
There you go.
Meditate on scriptures. Listen to set apart music.
Right, that's right.
Everybody that run across your path that start a conversation with you while you at work on the Shabbat, give them some word. Give them some word. Why you so happy, brother? Oh, today the Shabbat. Even though I got to work, I'm still keeping it.
That's right.
Huh? What verse was we at?
Here, verse 6.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice. Ye would not have condemned the guiltless.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the Son of Man is master, even of the Shabbat day.
So read that over again.
For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
Now you see, Lord means master. So a master sets rules, doesn't he? Not?
Come on now.
So he's saying, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath day. I know what's lawful and what ain't. Do you think the Lord of the Shabbat will let his disciples run through the cornfields and break the Shabbat?
Gonna tell him what to do, what not to
do. You
do.
talking to the master of this day. Who you think you talking to? I'm the Lord of the Shabbat. I say what's lawful on this day and what ain't.
Come on now.
And it's lawful to do righteousness. If you drive in the Shabbat class and you see a homeless person on the corner and your spirit compels you to go in that corner store and get them something to eat, do that. That's righteous.
Come on, bro.
That's righteous. But you know what a Pharisee gonna say? He's spending money
on the Sabbath.
But you don't know how the spirit and dealt with their brother or sister.
That's right.
You don't know what they done saw on the way to Shabbat class. They ain't looking at what you looking at on the way to Shabbat class. On the way to Shabbat class, your mind on getting back, getting back so you can do what you want to do and watch football. On that way to Shabbat class, they scanning the street looking for homes.
That's right.
See who I can help on the way to Shabbat class. You see what I'm saying? It's for to do righteous. Your baby blow their diapers out, blow their last diaper out. You gonna say, well,
this is Shabbat.
This is Shabbat. And the Most High put you in a situation where you had to sit in your feces till the sun go down.
Come on, man.
Don't be stupid, Israel. Don't be stupid. The Shabbat was made to do righteousness. Right? Let's get it, Hebrew. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day?
Where do it say it in the scriptures that it's not?
Ain't nowhere in the scripture.
Where is it? 2 precepts. I need them. 2 witnesses. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Go ahead.
That they might accuse him.
Yeah.
And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Shabbat day?
See, your sheep was your source of income.
That's right.
That was how you made your money. So what's your sheep today? Your mule today will be your car, your vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? What if that thing run out of gas on the side of the expressway?
Come on,
you gonna
man.
say, now your baby girl's in the car, your rib in the car. It's the middle of the summertime and your car cut off. You gonna say, oh well, yeah, we just gonna have to sweat it out.
Tough it out
till the sun go down now. Then somebody in the car died, heat stroke.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, that blood gonna be on your hands. That blood gonna be on now, partner. You need to make take some measures to get that situation
That's right.
Go ahead.
Will he not lay hold on it and lift it out?
Exactly.
How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Shabbat day.
See that? It's lawful to do well on the Shabbat day. It's lawful to do well. Go ahead.
Then said he to the man,
yeah,
stretch forth thy hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole like as the other.
You see that? So don't get caught up in all these so-called old traditions that a lot of these camps still want to put on people. You see what I'm saying? And know that the Most High knew when he created the earth, it will become a time where we will be working in captivity on the Shabbat. He knew that. Right. He knew that.
Come on. He wouldn't be God if he wouldn't.
He knew that. It's probably just a test. You know what I'm saying? It's a test. More than that's all it is.
Come on, bro.
But he still gave you a way to still be able to keep that thing holy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said what? To do right. So if you got to work, make sure you're doing lawful on the Shabbat. Make sure you're doing righteousness on the Shabbat.
Come on, brother.
All right, let's go to the next spot. Let's go to John. Let's do John 5. Let's do John 5. Let's look at this thing. Let's look at this thing, man. We're doing pretty good. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. All right, John 5. 1, pick it up at verse 1.
After this, there was a feast of the Yahudim.
Yeah.
And Yeshua went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is Jerusalem by the sheep market of pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethsaida, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of folk of halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had.
Yeah.
And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. When Yeshua saw him lie and knew that it had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. But while I'm coming, another stepped down before me. Yeshua said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath.
Oh, so the Messiah, this was on more than one occasion. Messiah was healing people on the Shabbat.
Yeah.
You see that on the day of what better day to set somebody free of a sickness on?
Come on, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Where all his work of creation was finished. And he rested. You know what I'm saying? So this is a day of what? A deliverance as well.
That's right.
He gives us a weekly day of deliverance.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The Messiah kept on doing what pissed him off. He didn't care. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
The Yahudim therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed.
Chapter and verse, please.
Thank you.
Chapter and verse me, please. Go ahead.
He answered them, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is this which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed wist not who it was, for Yeshua had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place.
Yeah.
Afterward, Yeshua finding him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then the man departed and told the Yahudim that it was Yeshua which had made him whole. And therefore the Jews persecuted Yeshua and sought to slay him because he had done these things on the Shabbat day.
Now because he had made somebody whole on the Shabbat. They sought to kill him.
Unrighteous anger. You
see that? And then you look up thousands of years later, his followers go through the same thing with these little Israelite camps. You know what I'm saying? These people straight up drag your name through the mud and throw you out they little camp because you don't fit they little mold. Right? You may rattle their spirit.
Come on, brother.
And they can't never show you no scripture. They can't never show you your sin in scripture.
Come
Where
on,
the sin at? Where we go off at?
So they modern day Pharisees.
Modern day Pharisees. And see, it was all prompted from the side because of what? Jealousy.
That's right, envy.
And it blind you. You read the Testament of 12 Patriarchs, it tell you anger and jealousy blinds you.
You been straight.
That these brothers couldn't even see that he wasn't even doing nothing unlawful. But because they were so envious.
That's right, brother.
They were so blind that they couldn't even see that, and they were condemning an innocent man. Had them so blind to where they couldn't even see that they was fulfilling the wicked side that the scriptures was describing.
And the sad part about it, they didn't have nothing written to prove that he was going off.
So didn't just a old tradition that had been lifted to the level of scripture, like we read. Like we read. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
But Yeshua answered them, my Abba worketh here too, and I work. Therefore the Yahudim sought the more to kill him. Because he had not only had broken the Shabbat in their eyes,
right,
but said also that Yah was his father, making himself equal with the Elohim.
Flip over 2 chapters, John chapter 7. So we see Pontius Pilate, he's on the stand. We at court. So the judge, I asked the judge, so judge, our witness is not lying about the learned men of Israel being conflicted on the Shabbat.
That's right.
This man hasn't lied so far, Your Honor. But you see that naysayer, that Egyptologist sitting over there?
Lying.
He ain't got no proof yet.
Lying.
He ain't brought out no proof. We continue. We ain't through, Judge. Hold on.
Wearing light.
Just hold on. Don't bang your gavel yet. We ain't done. We got about an hour and a half more worth of evidence for you.
That's right.
We at John chapter 7. John 19 through 24. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Did not Moshe give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go ye about to kill me? The people answered and said, thou hast a devil who goeth about to kill thee.
Yeah.
Yeshua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and ye all more. Moshe therefore gave unto you circumcision, and because it is of Moses, but of the Father,
right?
Of the fathers, and you Sabbath day circumcise a man.
All right, so back then the Pharisees used to walk around and check circumcision, physical circumcision. Like if you weren't circumcised on the spot, you got to get that snip. And let's just say you had a son on the Shabbat, but let's just say you had a son and the 8th day just so happened to fall on the Sabbath. So you would rather a man be in pain on the Shabbat from circumcision, but a man can't be in pain or from an ailment or from an infirmity on the Shabbat.
Hold up, bro. I gotta ask you something. You tell me you got jokers walking around checking other jokers' peckers on the Shabbat day?
Hey man, that's how
how you gonna check another joker?
That's how zealous they was. Religion. Stick right, roll up. No, you could. You tell me now, you would rather a man be sitting up, legs, can't move, can't walk, can't do nothing on the Shabbat in pain, but a man can't heal? He can't cause a man to be made whole on the Shabbat.
Man in pain, but you can't heal a man on the Shabbat.
Stop it. Y'all see how big of a hypocrites that these people were. They were sellouts and hypocrites.
That's all, bro.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
And if a man on the Shabbat day receive circumcision, that the law of Moshe should not be broken, are ye angry at me because I have made a man every whit whole day?
Exactly. So stop it. Go ahead.
Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous.
You judge righteous judgment. All right. So let's get back to the letters of Pontius Pilate.
All right.
That was another point. Learned men, he said, learned men were torn on the, and they were. But we see who had the right breakdown. Messiah always got the correct breakdown. So the next spot we're going to go to, difficulties in visiting Jerusalem. Let's get to that one. Difficulties in visiting Jerusalem. Let me screen share. Screen share. Boom. Make sure y'all can see that. All right, we good. Let's get it. Difficulties in visiting Jerusalem. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I could burst with indignation. Everything is ready for the journey to Jerusalem. And this morning I have discussed with Marcy as the last touches. Anything else you can think of? I inquired. I felt brisk, full of lively expectations about Jerusalem, and almost amiable towards my Jews. Of course, he said, we do not take images on the standards. You see that? So his partner, he letting them know, look, don't take no images up to that place. We don't do that. So he said, we don't take images. We do not take images on the standards. I protest that I showed no astonishment. I am learning not to be astonished in this country. Then why not, I said. When we take the standards to Jerusalem, he repeated, we always leave the images behind. Not on this occasion, I think, said I. So this heathen think, not me. I'm different. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm bringing the images. I said, whatever Valerius Gratus may have been weak enough to do, he did not turn a hair. Every procreator since Caesar took over the country has left the images behind, he asserted. Otherwise, the Jews would be deeply offended. I assure you, my blood boiled. This heathen mad. So first, he decided to go on the Shabbat. His boy came back and told him that's not a good idea. So then when he finally go, he want to bring all his images. His boy tell him again, look, that's not a good idea, man. You don't want to offend these people. Trust me on this. These ain't the people told you when to step on. So Pilate said, my blood boiled. Do you mean to tell me, I asked, that when the Roman governor makes his formal entry into the chief city of the Jews, he is to omit from the standards of his troops the images of the Emperor Tiberius Caesar, whom may the gods preserve, and of Augustus Caesar, Imperial, his great predecessor? I do, he said. It is the accepted policy, and I beg you to follow it. You see the ancient spirit, you didn't deal with that stuff.
Come on, brother.
You know, no medallions, none of that, of graven images, none of that. Negroes walking around with crosses and Jesus pieces on. Then it's the heathen.
Yeah.
It's Caesar Borgia. He said the Jews would not tolerate the image of any god or emperor in Jerusalem, neither statues nor medallions on the standards, nor images on coins. You know yourself that although the silver coins minted in Italy that reached this country bear Caesar's image, for that cannot be avoided. The copper coins are minted in Judea itself, have not his image on them. So too with the standards. He looked me in the face. It is Caesar's will that their religion should not be offended. Wow. So Tiberius Caesar at the time was ruling.
Mm-hmm.
So it was his will. He like, man, look, don't offend these people now. We ruling over them, but boy, if it's an uprising.
Because he remembered the Maccabees.
Yeah, and
he didn't want none of that.
Far off.
And he didn't want no more of that.
Exactly. And the Maccabees was not that far off from this time period. Not that far off at all. So he said, he looked me in the face. It is Caesar's will that their religion should not be offended. They have no image of their God. In the depths of their temple in Jerusalem is a little chamber, which is inhabited by their God, but it is empty. There's nothing in it. What is he talking about? The most holy place.
That's right, brother.
The most holy place in the temple. Right? So these heathens knew. So the Romans knew we didn't have an image of our God. But in the Council of Nicaea, what the Romans do?
They turned around and created one.
Turned around and created one. Turned around and created one. Wow. So it says Caesar would not have, I skipped something. It says they have no image of their God. In the depths of their temple in Jerusalem is a little chamber which is inhabited by their God. Mm-hmm. But it's empty. There is nothing in it. Caesar would not object, I said. If I took his image into Jerusalem and nothing happened, he would be pleased to think that I was breaking down the hostility of these Jews to him in Rome and all the outside world. If there's a tumult, Marcius said, an attack on the troops in the narrow streets of Jerusalem, I cannot answer for the consequences. Will Caesar be pleased then? Straight talking, as you see. Alexander was there, and I looked at him from time to time, but the little Jew had good sense to keep his mouth shut. So this heathen in his feelings now. Mm-hmm. Then he is solding his good old boy.
Yeah. Now his boy telling him what's real, but now he looking for the cool to say something so he can slap fire off top of his head.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, but the little Jew had good sense to keep his mouth shut. At the finish, I had to give way. What else could I do? I cannot risk a tumult and a rising so early in my term of office with so few troops available. And the certainty that I should be condemned for failure, though if I was successful, all Rome would praise my firmness. But it does go against the grain to enter Jerusalem before the eyes of those arrogant priests and those surly people as though we were in sufferings. It is the same everywhere. What do the Britons think when they see that we stop short at their island? What do these Jews think when they see that we choose rather to humiliate Caesar than offend them? They will take toleration for weakness and caution for timidity, and it will do no good. Evil will come of it. Mark me. We shall have our work to do over again, and in the end, we shall do it thoroughly. At present, I must yield. I would offend the Jews cheerfully, but I cannot afford to cross Caesar or Sejanus. Procure Lagos with me. She has long ago exhausted Caesarea. She insists that it is time she saw something truly Jewish. I tell her that at all events, when we go up without the images, she will be seeing something that is truly unwrong. All right, let me see where we at. That was the decision to visit. No, that was difficulties. Mm-hmm. That was difficulties visiting Jerusalem. Let's go to Mark 12. Mark chapter 12.
We had a problem on Facebook.
We having some problems on Facebook.
It looked like it had an error message in my phone, but I just checked.
Okay. So can y'all hear us on Facebook and YouTube? What I say, Mark 12.
You got the screen.
What we just finished reading. That was difficulties in visiting Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he said he mentioned the coin. What? Okay. So he mentioned the coins and the Caesar's face being on coin, right? So let's go to Mark chapter 12, read 13 through 17.
All right.
Mark chapter 12, 13 through 17. Now this is important because remember in part 1 we Messiah rolled with brothers who were Zealots, right?
That's right.
Simon the Zealot. What we read about the Zealots, they hated the Romans.
They didn't like paying them taxes.
And they did not like paying taxes. They did not like paying taxes. And then we just read in the letters of Pontius Pilate the Jews hated images.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we do today. Well, we love them today.
Yeah.
But the ones who in this thing, who in this walk, we hate images.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? They hated the fact, they already hated paying taxes. And you know they hated the fact that this heathen's face is on the money. So let's go to Mark. Mm-hmm. Mark 12, pick it up in verse 13.
And they saying unto him, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And they saying unto him certain of the Pharisees and of the Herodians.
Oh, who?
The Herodians.
And of the, they said we going in and.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
In Facebook or?
I think it was on Facebook.
It's both on this one because we got it linked. Boy, that's Hashatan, boy. Is we still going in and out, y'all? Let's see. What? Is we still going in and out, y'all? I can hear the little in and out. I can hear the choppiness of it. Mic check. Let us know if we going in and out. Y'all. Give us a 7 if y'all can hear us up in this room.
It's buffering on Facebook. I'm looking at it buffering on my phone.
It's buffering on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. On my phone, I don't know if it's doing it on anybody else's laptop or whatever.
Hey. Give us a 7 if y'all can hear us. Man, my joint. Okay, they saying we good. Okay, I'm getting 7.
It may just be my phone. Man.
I'm getting 7s. All right, so let's rock, y'all. Let's rock. Mark chapter 12, verse 13. Like I said, he rolled with Zealots, Simon the Zealots, Jim Jigglewire. That's right, Jim Jigglewire was hard at work.
Wow.
He said, turn down the volume on the laptop a little bit. That's probably why it's going in and out.
It's sitting right there. There it is. Sound.
Trying to see.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hit that slide bar.
Hold on. Alert volume, optimal volume. Slide that down. Give her 1 second, Hebrews. Input volume. Let's try that. All right, give us a 7. They said we can hear, but the sound keep going in and out.
That causes buffering for some reason.
Okay, all right. So give me one more wave of 7s if y'all can hear us. If we going in and out, please let us know. Notify us in the comments whenever we start going in and out, y'all. But we finna keep going. We finna keep going. We at Mark chapter 12. Verse 13. I think we good. Verse 13. Mark chapter 12, verse 13. So we just read about in the letters of Pontius Pilate about the images on the coins. Right? Then we read about in the last lesson, the first part about the Zealots. They hated the Romans and hated paying taxes. Then the last lesson we read about how one of the disciples was what? Zealots. Mm-hmm. Simon the Zealot, also Peter. Right? So the Messiah rolled with brothers who hated the Romans and hated paying taxes. So contrary to your popular belief, this pacifist, timid sissy. He won. So now the Pharisees and the Herodians finna come ask him a question about paying taxes.
Right.
Let's see what he had to say. Go ahead. 13
again.
Yeah.
And they sent unto him certain of the Pharisees and of the Herodians to catch him in his words. And when they were come, they say unto him, Master, we know that thou art true, and carest not for no man.
You see that? They say, Master, we know that thou art true, and you don't show bias to nobody. Go ahead.
For thou regardest not the person of men, but teaches the way of Yah in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar or not?
Now, see, the Pharisees thought they was wise in this. See, if he say, yeah, pay the tax, then he denying the sovereignty of his so-called father. You see, but if he say, no, see,
we're going to get him in trouble with the Romans.
We're going to get him in trouble with the Romans. See, you didn't read the prophecies. He say, I have a two-edged sword in my mouth.
That's right.
I got the tongue of the learned.
Come on, brother.
You're not going to trip him up. Let's see what he had to say. Go ahead.
15.
Yeah.
Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said unto them, why tempt ye me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. And they brought it. And he said unto them, whose image and subscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar.
Oh.
And to Yah the things that are Yah.
You see that? He said, so there are certain things that you render unto this government.
That's right.
And see, there's certain things that you render unto the Most High. He put that render unto Yah with his Yah, let you know Caesar don't have complete authority.
That's right.
Because the minute Caesar tell you to render something to him that belongs to the Most High, me and Caesar got a problem at that point.
That's right.
Me and Caesar got a problem at that point. Yeah, I pay you little taxes. I pay, even though I really don't want to pay you that because you didn't work for none of that. We work 40 plus hours a week for our money and still don't get our love. Still don't get our love.
And he had to do that anyway. You know why, bro? Because when he brought the Babylonians down, he told them to put your neck up under their yoke anyway.
Yeah.
So he's been breaking prophecy and law.
Yep. So he let them know, look, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. But no, he don't have the complete authority because you're supposed to render unto the Most High was his.
That's right.
And the minute the government tell you to do something, render unto them what belongs to the Most High, no, you don't do that. Forget that government at that point.
Yeah.
At that point. Messiah gave us wisdom on how to deal with these heathens, man, on how to keep these heathens out of our face.
At bay.
When they pull you over, look, don't be talking all crazy. Look, don't be friendly either. I don't say nothing unless you ask me. You come to the window. If you don't say nothing, I'm just going to sit there and stare at you until you walk off. You never say nothing. I'm not going to initiate any of the conversation. It ain't no, hey, how you doing, officer? I'm going to roll down my window and wait for you to start talking. You would speed. If I was speeding, okay, I would speed. Yeah, I was speeding because the script said, agree with your adversary while you in the way.
That's right.
Lest he deliver you to the judge. And
That's right.
You ain't going to be able to leave that prison until you pay every fee that you owe.
That's right.
You see that he gave us the wisdom. He gave us the wisdom. And so when it comes to taxes, man, look, these heathens' faces on this money, render unto them what's theirs. It's worthless anyway. It's coming down anyway.
That's right.
It's coming down anyway. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Nah, that was it on that.
Okay.
All right, that was it on that. Let's go to, let me see what I want. Let's go to Luke 23. Let's go to Luke 23. Let's see how they flipped it on the Messiah at the end and lied on him. Luke 23 verses 1 and 2. Luke 23 verses 1 and 2. It's finna get good now, y'all. When we get into these next sessions of Pontius Pilate, it's finna get real good. Luke 23 verses 1 through 2. Go ahead.
And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, we found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar.
Do you see how they straight lied on the Messiah? Just straight lied on him.
Straight lied up, bro.
Go ahead.
Saying that he himself is Hamashiach, a king. And Pilate asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Yahudi?
Yeah.
And he answered and said unto him, Thou sayest.
Let's go to the next section. Your Honor. We not done yet. Your Honor.
Let's get it.
And in this next section, Your Honor, we about to put a major dagger into the chest of any Egyptologist in this next section. Oh, man. Oh, man. Is it this section? Well, let me make sure while I'm running my mouth. Let me make sure I got this food ready for y'all, man. Let me make sure I got it right. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so let's go to the reception at Jerusalem. All right. Let me go there on the screen, sure. Reception at Jerusalem. This is the spot that we at next. All right, let's read this. If you scroll for me.
All right.
Let me make sure I got the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on there. All right, so let's get it. Reception at Jerusalem. So after all the trouble he went through trying to get up there on Shabbat, couldn't come. Then about the images thing, he got upset, had little small remarks. So he finally get there. Let's see the type of reception he had at Jerusalem. Let's see. The reception at Jerusalem. We have been here a week, and it seems like a year. At the gate. This heathen at the gate. He said, it is as though we were in a different country. I felt it immediately as we came up from the coast. Caesarea, after all, is bustling and cheerful, with a friendly face toward one. Here, as we marched up and up into the bleak hills which stretch away north and south as far as the eye can see, I felt like an invader entering for the first time in a hostile land. All the way along, we saw groups of people from the farms and scattered hamlets watching us silently. It was the same when we entered Jerusalem. There was no welcome at the gates nor in the street. Not a shout nor a salute. No sign even of Caiaphas nor of any high priestly caste. Crowds enough in the streets. You see where we hanging out at? In the streets.
Mm-hmm.
See what he didn't say we was hanging out at? Crowds enough in the streets. Crowds enough in the streets, for the place is like a rabbit warren. But all of them glum and silent, as though they had been given the order, or sneering at us as if they thought they had caught our eye. So, contrary to the spirit you see out here today on your people, want to be all skinning and grinning in the heathen face, that wasn't our people not too long ago.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? This is a ruler of Rome. And we looking at him like, man, who is you?
That's right.
You need to get up out of here is what you need to do.
Get your head cracked.
You see that? He said, this place is a volcano. And if I had more troops and Caesar permitted, I would not mind if the explosion came. Marcius said that it will not come, not yet. The high priest, he asserts, and by that he means the little ring of families from whom the high priest is always chosen, will have as little to do with me as possible. But they have things well in hand, and I will have them well in hand before I finish. And so I have told Marcius. He warns me to expect no friendliness from the priests or people. To all of them alike, we are aliens and usurpers, to be regarded with coldness and suspicion until their God thinks fit to remove us from their necks. Boy, I couldn't do nothing but laugh when I read that, because that's the approach that I take with heathen.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Suspicious and cold. I'm short with them. I ain't never rude now. I ain't rude. But I'm short, huh? What you want? Okay. Okay, good. That's what's up. Okay, I ain't got too much to say to them. That's pretty much it saying right here how our people treated them.
That's right.
Cold and suspicion until their God thinks fit to remove us from their necks. This is a wretched city. except for the great Herod's work, which is scarcely a single building worth a glance. Whatever pride and taste they possess, they have put it into their temple.
Mm-hmm.
The streets are narrow and ill paved. Their drains and water supply are disgraceful. Even for Asia, it is no wonder that they suffer from all kinds of disease. Wow. Do y'all hear that what this heathen just said? Do y'all? So the curses has been on us in every generation.
Mm-hmm.
In every generation.
Mm.
Can you get that precept for me, Deuteronomy 28?
Yeah.
Grab that. Let's grab that. Deuteronomy 28. What verse is that there?
About the information and all.
Yeah.
Around 40 something like that.
Okay. You see what he said? He said, and he described our living conditions. That sound like the hood, don't it?
Yeah.
What he would describe.
Mm-hmm.
Our water source. Look, Flint, Michigan still got poisonous water flowing through their pipes.
That's right. Yeah, around 27.
And the government just got bailed out. Trillions of dollars. They come up with the snap of a finger. Flint, Michigan going on 10 plus years with poisonous water flowing through their pipes. You see what he said? He said it's no wonder that they suffer from all kinds of diseases. Let's see. We Deuteronomy 21. You got it up. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Read that for me.
Hey,
Deuteronomy 28 verses 21.
Yeah, we're gonna read down through the 28.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Deuteronomy 28:21.
Yeah.
Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
Yeah.
Until he have consumed thee from off the land whither thou goest to possess.
Wow.
Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew.
Oh.
And they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
You see that? They should pursue thee to thy perish.
Skipping down to verse 26.
Okay, go ahead.
27.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with Imrod, meaning hemorrhoid, and with the scab, and with the itch, wherefore thou cannot be healed.
Boy, and with the itch?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what Israel like to do. Y'all know what Israel like to do that gonna cause you to itch. That's gonna cause you to itch.
Yeah,
huh? Them old
venereal disease.
Crotch buddies down there.
And crabs.
Yeah. You see that? The itch, go ahead. The STDs, go ahead.
And the Lord shall smite, verse 28, and Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness.
You see that?
And astonishment of heart.
Those are mental disorders.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your mental disorders. The madness, the astonishment of heart.
Yeah.
You see that? That's dealing with the mentals.
That's it, brother.
All right, and I'm going to skip down to verses 59. I'm going to skip down to verse 59.
When we read 59 what?
Yeah, 59 through 61.
Okay. Deuteronomy 28:59.
Yeah.
Then Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues of a long continuance.
Of a long continuance. So this was during the Roman Empire.
Yes, sir.
And the procreator of Rome said, no wonder that they suffer from all these diseases.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And sore sicknesses of a long continuance.
Hold on, let me speak to the judge real quick. So, Your Honor, not only is he proving the New Testament, he's proving who the children of Israel are.
And the prophets.
Because one of their claims is that we really didn't exist and we are not the chosen.
Right.
You see, he said these curses were going to be on these people for a sign, for you to identify them, to see who they are. You want to know who the children of Israel is? Just look at their living conditions.
Come on, bro.
I don't care where you at on this planet. Living conditions the same.
That's right.
Huh? Go ahead.
Verse 60.
Yeah.
Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which I was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every state.
Hold on, he said the diseases of Egypt. Wait a minute. Don't they have diseases here in this Egypt? Our kids got the most plague of Egypt created here in Egypt.
Yeah.
You see that all that mess, STDs, that right here, right down there in Atlanta, the disease control.
Yeah, they controlling the disease. They controlling what you get and what you don't get. How long you have it.
You see that? He said, I'm gonna put all the plagues in Egypt. Whether I send them or they be man-made. Go ahead.
Verse 61. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
All right, let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Letters of Pontius Pilate. He said, it is no wonder that they suffer from all kinds of disease. I shall have to see about this. The hand of Herod is evident everywhere. How that man must despise and laugh at the Jews. On one day he would humor them, on the next strike them in the face, or more likely do both things almost together. He built a temple, which is one of the world's wonders which is one of the wonders of the world, and they are proud of it. As well, they may be at the same time. He built a theater in the city and an amphitheater outside of it. I'm gonna skip down, y'all. Nah, I'm gonna keep. Let's read this through. And of what use was that, you say, since they so much present the introduction of such wicked spectacles? I think that is just what must have delighted Herod. Their priests and all their stricter folk denounce him and his evil works, but many of the common people flock to the spectacles. What people could resist the temptation? So Herod, in the eyes of the good Jew, was a corrupter of the people, more subtle, more dangerous than the mere persecutor.
Mm-hmm.
It goes without saying that Herod built the palace too, an enormous affair, which is also a fortress. It gave him an additional grip on the city. Whatever else he did, he never forgot the necessity of securing himself against the people. The whole country is dotted with his fortresses. I do not live in the palace. Sometimes more modest is enough for my pretensions. Besides, I like to have my soldiers near me. I live in the Antonia, the citadel, which is closed until overlooks the temple. I have the troops there and can keep an eye on the temple. For if there is trouble afoot, especially at the time of the great festivals, it is in the temple that sooner the great festivals that the Israelites have in Leviticus 23.
Oh, so they real too, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And he telling you about them. We read about them in the first part, how they would come up to the Passover and go to his games. Right? It says you cannot imagine the eagerness of the Jews to fight each other. They are as full as factions as the Greeks. And you know what that means now. Is that true today?
Yep.
We read about in the Old Testament history the origin of Jewish sects, the different sects, Sadducees, Pharisees.
So we've been gang banging.
Herodians. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We've been gang banging.
The Zealots. Then you look up 2,000 years later, there's Israelite camps all over across this world.
Mm-hmm.
IUIC, IOG, ISUPK, IHOY, AOY.
Sons of Thunder.
You see that? He said there are as full as factions as the Greeks. And you know what that means. A few of them favor the family of Herod. The chief priests, as I have told you, think it well to make the best of us Romans. The fanatics and agitators of the common people look askance at them both. Then the country people are always coming up from over Jordan or from Galilee, and the inhabitants of the city are quick to make trouble with them. Not to mention the Samaritans, with whom any good Jew is ready to pick a quarrel. So we hated the Samaritans. We straight up hated them. The temple is astonishing. There cannot be its like in the world. It is a city in itself, and the priests and servants attached to it must number thousands. there are enormous, what's that? Colonizing courts one after another. Now check this out, y'all. Foreigners may go into the outer court.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And if any foreigner goes through and is detected,
what happened to him, brother?
He suffers the death penalty.
Well, we can have Gentiles in our assembly.
Now watch this. He said, then there is another court which marks the limit. Hold on. Now I skipped some.
Go ahead.
He said, even our own soldiers are executed by us if they transgress the barrier.
You know why? Because they did, it's going to be a riot.
Yes.
Wasn't no heathens allowed in the assembly.
You see that? Exactly. And they knew if they got so far as to go all the way into the holy place, a plague could break out among their own race. Yeah. So even the heathens will execute the heathens if the heathens went past the barrier that was set for them in the temple. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Man down.
Shots fired.
No heathens in the assembly.
Shots fired. Shots fired. So
that's documented history right there.
And then look, during the festivals, we were all gathered in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And we read that in the first, we were all gathered in the temple and debate.
Mm.
So what were the heathens on the feast days when we was inside the temple? What were debating? What were the heathens?
They can be in the feet. They can get the feet.
No, they was in the barrier. Now this a heathen saying this.
Come on now.
But a few months ago when we brought the point out, we hate heathens. Well, what do? He hate heathens too?
And he a heathen.
This a white man. Letting you know the order that was going on back in the day.
Even when they were ruling, they knew not to step on that.
He said even our own soldiers are executed by us if they transgress the barrier. Then there is another court which marks the limit for women and another for men.
Mm.
And so on to the priest courts and the great altar of sacrifice and the innermost chamber of all the empty one, which no one enters but the high priest, and he only once a year. I wonder what day that was.
Mm-hmm. Come on now.
That sounds like the Day of Atonement.
That's right.
Leviticus 16.
Come on, brother.
Right? So feast days confirmed by the letter of Pontius Pilate.
That's right. And the segregation of the assembly.
The segregation of the assembly confirmed, which we can also read in Revelation 11, Your Honor. Matter of fact, let's do it.
Let's get that.
This is more evidence, Your Honor.
Throw that in there for a tidbit.
Revelation 11. You know, if a Gentile want to know how to get to the channel,
he can get to the
channel. Order Melchizedek Memphis. You know what I'm saying? They want to, want us to come chop it up, chop some script, explain script, no problem. We ain't telling nobody they can't serve our power. Now that ain't up to us to decide.
No, that ain't up to us.
It's been plenty righteous heathens in the scriptures. We can run them down too.
Mm-hmm.
We don't duck those scriptures. Now we don't duck script. We don't scripture shave over here. We don't cut out the parts we don't like.
We read all of them.
We don't not deal with the parts you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's the little for us to accept.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Revelation 11. Go ahead. You know what I want. Pick it up at verse 1 through
I'm gonna read down to 6.
Yeah.
You want to read to 6?
Just the part of the court for the Gentiles. So that's what? Verses 1 and 2.
Verse 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Go ahead. Revelation 11, verses 1 and 2. Go ahead.
All right. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod.
Yeah.
And the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yah, and the altar, and them that worship therein. And them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple.
Oh, so it's a group of people who worships inside the temple.
That's right.
Then it's a group of people who
on the outside looking
in
in.
the outer court work.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
But the court, which is without the temple, leave out.
Without means outside.
Yeah.
The court that's outside the temple.
Yeah, leave it out.
Leave it out. For who that's for?
And measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles.
Given unto the Gentiles. That's why we would never tell you a heathen can't come worship, because if that was the case, it wouldn't have never been the outer court for the Gentiles.
That's right.
So they have a place in this thing.
On the outside.
On the outside.
No heathen can come into the temple where Yeshua HaMashiach will trade.
Exactly. That's just like, and that's just the same today with you and your children. When you throw your children a party, if it's their birthday party, they gonna get the gifts.
Right.
Every child at the party gonna get some food, little doggy bag, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody ain't getting that big wheel.
No.
Everybody there ain't getting that
PlayStation.
That PlayStation. It's the same thing. So you can say he unrighteous where you unrighteous for dealing with your children like that then.
But the scriptures say there is no unrighteousness with God.
Exactly. So let's continue reading. Let's continue reading back in these letters of Pontius Pilate. Where did I stop at?
Oh, you right there.
Okay, after I finish about the Day of Atonement point. Okay, so the quantity of sacrifices made by private persons is amazing. And the part of the outer court where the offerings are bought and sold is just like a great fair. The priests get part of all the offerings, and to make sure of their income, they insist that no one shall offer sacrifice except in Jerusalem and in the temple itself. That's Torah, right? And then there are the presents from the rich Jews and the tribute money from rich and poor alike. The treasury is concealed somewhere in the depths of the temple. I do not know where precisely. You will now ask me, how have I been received since I first entered the city? Not well. They asked for trouble. I had invited all their chief men to meet me at Antonia on the morning after my arrival. There was no reply, but they came. I had been told by Alexander that I had better receive them in the outer court, and some of them will have scruples about entering the actual building. I even offered to give them food and wine, not wine of the country, but real wine before they left. But of course, Alexander replied that was impossible. Besides, it was the day before or the day after some festival or other, and that made them stricter than ever about meeting with those they call the heathen. You see that? So even in that time, so that ain't nothing that we just do. Y'all think we being mean or jackass.
Come on, man. That's who we are.
That's who we are. They heathen. That's a heathen. You see that? He said, so they call them, yes, we call them heathens. We still do. The scriptures call them heathens. Script call them heathens. He said, in this as in everything I gave way. You cannot say that I am not patient with them. There was a great crowd when they came. I expect that most of them were as curious to see me as I see them. All the Sanhedrin were there, some 70 of them. This is the body that rules the Jews under our authority. Their chief priests, officials, and most distinguished lawyers and philosophers compose it. I greeted Caiaphas, and he presented the leaders to me, among them Annas and one or two who had held the office of high priest, the captain of the temple guard, the chief of the treasury, and a few more. Annas had his sons there, a whole row of them. One of them has already been high priest, and no doubt the others expect to be. The old man, I should say, is worth the lot of them. He has a hawk's face with thin lips for a Jew. So Israelites known for our full lips. You see, he said for a Jew, he got pretty thin lips. Anybody who's seen me know I got some soup coolers.
Yeah.
So he said he got thin lips for a Jew. He said, and every now and then when he is moved, a spark of fire in his eyes. I do not know whether it is cunning or inclination that decides his philosophy, but although he is one of the heads of the priestly nobles who work with us and are almost all of the faction called Sadducees, he seeks the support and applause of the other faction, the Pharisees, who are all for the utmost observance of the Jewish law and for as much opposition that is practicable to Greeks and Romans and any other foreigners. Now observe what happened. The leading Sadducees have seats on the Sanhedrin, but the majority of his members are Pharisees, who regard the Sadducees with suspicion and disapproval as temporizers in religion and therefore in politics. All were listening to hear what I would say, what the noble Sadducees would say to me. After the presentations, I began by saying to Caiaphas that I was sorry that they had not thought fit to greet me at entry into the city. I spoke in Greek because that, as you know, is the language of the educated throughout the East. Before Caiaphas could reply, Annas said something sharply in a foreign tongue, and there was a little movement of applause among some of them. Caiaphas said hurriedly that it was a matter of custom and that the Roman governor had never so far demanded a formal welcome on entering Jerusalem. I am becoming, I really think, a miracle of self-control. So now you got these brothers, they didn't give him a warm welcome on the way up there. And now they whispering something in our language, which was Aramaic at the time. And he don't understand it. So he like, man, these people.
They testing his patience.
Man, these people are something else. You see that? So he said, I did not ask what Annas said, but I discovered afterwards that he had said in Aramaic, which they use among themselves, that it was surely enough that they should consent to come to me at all. I turned to him, however, and said again in Greek that I hope the indisposition was better had prevented him from coming to welcome me at Caesarea. He smiled slightly and replied again in Aramaic, an insulting thing to do. And there was a general laugh. So now and they whisper something in Aramaic and they start laughing at the heathen. So he smiled slightly and replied again, an insulting to do. And there was a general laugh. I made Alex translate for me this time. It appeared that the insolent fellow had said that his indisposition was better, but might return at any moment. However, I know how to deal with such gentry, and I addressed them in Latin to teach them their place, and ordered Alexander to translate into Greek. I told them roundly that I was displeased with my reception at Caesarea, and still more in Jerusalem, but that they should have no reason to complain to me so long as their conduct was sincerely loyal. They listened sourly, and then Caiaphas said hastily that they knew their duty to Caesar and to Rome. We know what we got to do, heathen, shut up. That's kind of like what their response was.
Yeah.
I asked if they had any request to make of me, and he replied that it would make for a good feeling and contentment if I would restore the high priest's vestments to their keeping. I replied as that Alexander was a matter for Caesar, and that it would depend entirely on their conduct. And they were entirely on their conduct whether I could make any recommendation. I want to read. Okay, I want to skip down, y'all. Let's skip down to you remember. Let me see. Go up. Let me see. Make sure we ain't skip it. You remember.
Yeah.
What you see there?
Go back now. Because you was almost down there too.
You remember.
Oh, is that it?
Where is it? I'm looking for a spot. I want to skip down, y'all. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
So you read all that.
Let me see. You remember. Okay, I read all that. I told them. See, what did I just finish? What did I say?
So you finished all that.
So I finished that. Okay.
Now this where you was finna start it. Right
Okay.
there.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find the spot. I got it marked in my book. I'm just trying to find it on the screen so y'all can be on point with it.
Or took by his wife.
Nah, that wasn't what I wanted. Okay, reception in Jerusalem.
You read
I read all that. Size. Okay. Cool. Simple, astonishing. Okay, I read all that. Okay. All right, we're getting close. Where you see it at?
Is that what you talking about? You would ask me to know?
Now I'm trying to get to where it said you remember that one.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah. I'm trying to get down to that. Unless they cut it out on this, because I sure don't see it. Hold on, go back down. Go back down. Okay, hold on. We getting close. We getting close. All right, we getting close. We getting close. We getting close. We getting close. Okay, here we go. There we go. Right there. Highlight that for them so they can see where you at. Sorry about that, fam. We got it. Y'all see it where it says you remember that when Pontius took Jerusalem. We make sure they can see that. If y'all caught up, y'all know we had put a 7 up in the room and we continue. We continue. Put a 7 up in the room.
I'm moving the cursor right there.
Oh, okay, so they can see it. So let's pick it up right there, y'all. Let's pick it back up right there. It says, you remember that when to the most sacred thing, they have never forgiven. Now, this is he's bringing up a time where he actually went into the most holy place while Caiaphas and Annas and all the Israelites standing right there. Now look what he bring this up. He says, took Jerusalem in the course of his Eastern conquest and penetrated to the most sacred chamber. They say we're going in and out. Man. Into the most sacred chamber, an act of desecration which they had never forgiven. The sound is bad. Man, hold on.
I don't know why that sound keep going there. Hold on.
An act of desecration which they had never forgiven. It sound, I mean, we sounded good on our end, unless they saying it's going in and out. All right, mic check. Let us know if y'all can hear that. Let us know if y'all can hear that. Mic check. Let us know if the sound still going in and out. Let us know if the sound going in and out. We ain't gonna finish this. Okay, let's go ahead and keep rolling. We're just gonna keep rolling.
You got it back on the script, sure.
She said that's on YouTube. So if it's going in and out on YouTube, slide on over to Facebook and see what that'll do. All right, so it says a murmur of horror and now I'm gonna pick that up back at the top. You remember that when Pontius took Jerusalem in the course of his conquest, he to the most sacred they have never. You have seen their faces, a murmur of horror and anger broke from them. Some of them spit on the floor, and some of them took a step towards me and stepped forward, but I did not give him time to speak. I have no intention myself, I said, to go beyond the outer court. Yeah, I know they were about to twist that heathen up. It says, just as I have confidence that you will continue to perform the daily sacrifice in order of Caesar and of Rome. That quieted them, for it was a reminder, tolerant as we are, we do exact from them a daily symbol of submission. So I'm skipping down again, and I should spend a fortnight here. I should spend a fortnight here and then make a round of inspection before I return to Caesarea. I must see the country people.
I believe they have not the slightest understanding of the power and importance of Rome, a most dangerous form, a most dangerous
form of ignorance.
Okay, a most dangerous form of ignorance. I lost my spot in the book. Okay. Yeah, a most dangerous form of ignorance. I should be glad to get away, but Procula, his wife, will be sorry to leave Jerusalem. She finds everything picturesque, and besides, their religion and their temple worship attracts her. So his wife had a mind towards our culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even so much so to the point to where the Most High had dealt with her in a dream where she was like, look, I done suffered many things of this man, speaking to Yahushua in a dream. It's best you leave him alone. She came and told her husband that before he had him executed.
Mm-hmm.
And now it all makes sense. She always the mystery the radiant they are to see themselves to the priests. Procula visits the outer court and questions Alexander about their innermost empty chamber. I tell her that someday she will forget and pass through the barrier. Then it will be my unpleasant duty to have her executed. By the way, I have 2 questions for you. Here come the daggers. How many synagogues are there in Jerusalem? 50, do you say? There are nearly 500. And who discovered the alphabet? The ancient Egyptians, who all these Negroes in this last hour want to run around and say all their knowledge predates the Bible? Or the Assyrians, you reply? No, it was Abraham, the ancestor of the Jews.
Hallelujah.
He says, you do not believe it? What presumption? Neither do I, but the Jews do, or pretend to. No, that's right. Let's go to Jubilees.
Come on now. I ain't got mine down.
It's all good. I got it right here. Let's go to Jubilees.
Yeah. Come on now. I already know you're going to go ahead and bust that head open.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I think I know the issue. Let's slide this back some. Let's see what this do. All right.
What's going on with that?
Now, let's see. Is that sound better now? Because I think I might have been all up on the
oh, okay.
You know, the thing. You see that? He said, look, they created the alphabet. Let's get this Jubilee.
Yeah. I want to read this.
Jubilees chapter 12. He said it started with Abraham, right? He said it started with Abraham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so read Jubilees chapter 12 and your pseudo picture. Hold the one up so they can see which one it is.
Tell them the volume on it.
This is 2, the one with the blue letters on. Pseudo picture for it's on page. Read that page number out for them so they can go straight to it.
Page 82.
Yeah, page 82. Jubilees chapter 12, 25 through 27. What it say?
And Yahweh the power said to me, in his mouth and his ear, so he might hear and speak with his mouth in the language which is revealed, because it ceased from the mouth of all the sons of men from the day of the fall. Oh, from the day of the fall. You see that? So Adam had it. It's the language of creation. Mm-hmm.
Adam had it then when the languages got mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Then Abraham came along.
Picked it back up,
started it back with him. Go ahead.
And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips.
Yeah.
And I began to speak with him in Hebrew.
No, in what?
Hebrew.
So the alphabet, we not talking about A, B, C, D. No, that's Babylon. We talking about the Aleph Bet.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that's what we talking about.
This the angel talking to Moses.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna give him a context of this angel talking to Moses about Abraham.
Uh-huh.
I just want to give him that little context on that.
Yeah. That was it on that?
No.
Go ahead, finish it off.
And I opened his mouth and his ears and his lips and began to speak with him in Hebrew.
In what?
In the tongue of creation.
Mm.
And he took his father's books, and he took his books, and they were written in Hebrew, and he copied them, and he began studying them thereafter. And I caused him to know everything which he was unable to understand, and he studied them in 6 months of reign.
Ema, that page number was 82.
Yeah.
Ema, that was page 82 in the pseudepigrapha volume
2.
Volume 2.
Yeah, volume 2.
Yup.
Hold it back up.
Yup. There was Jubilees chapter 12, 25 through 27.
Mm-hmm.
So he said Hebrew is the language of creation. So it ain't going nowhere.
No.
So let's go to Zephaniah 3 and 9.
Come on, man.
Let's go to Zephaniah 3 and 9. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up on the
Woo,
blue
that's
letter.
a killer.
Pull this up on the blue letter.
Man, I already know you. That's a killer.
And we finna clear up a misconception because people read this. People who wanna rag on the Hebrew language run here and say, see, he gonna turn to us a pure language as if pure means new. Pure does not mean new language. Pure don't mean new. Contrary to pop belief.
You gonna pull that blue letter?
Yeah, I'm finna screen share it. I'm finna screen share it so they can all see the definition, so they don't think I'm making this up. All right, Zephaniah 3 and 9. Read that for me.
Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9, and I read.
Yeah.
For then I will turn to the people a pure language.
What kind of language?
Pure language.
Oh, okay.
That they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent.
All right, so let's see pure. Pure. Let's see if it means new. So let's see if he gonna get rid of what he once called the language of creation and come with something else.
Come on now.
So it's H1305, but Rob, it says to purify.
Come on now.
So if you purify something, let's say if I purify my phone, does that mean it's a new phone?
You taking that which you already had and made it clean.
It made it clean. Select, polish, choose, purge, cleanse, make bright, prove, or test. To purge out, to purify. Let's get down to the outline of biblical usage. Down to the Strong's definitions. It says to examine, select, make bright. Choice, choosing, cleanse, be clean, polish. So he's going to clean up the Hebrew because
come on, brother.
Now you have so many different dialects.
Yeah.
That's why you hear one brother say Yeshua. You heard one brother say Yahoshua. You heard one brother say Yeshaya. Yahweh Shai. So he gonna clean all that up so we can do what? Serve him on one consent.
There you go, brother. That's
what that scripture mean. It don't mean he gonna bring in a new language because it said Hebrew is what? The language of creation. Language of creation. So we came out of run here and say pure language. See, it ain't gonna be no Hebrew. No, pure don't mean new. In English or Hebrew, it don't mean new.
When you purify water, is it a different type of water or it's just been cleaned up?
It's the same water.
It's just been cleaned up.
It's just been cleaned up.
Okay.
See, we gotta pull these definitions and get into the nuance of this thing. All right, let's go back. What was we at?
We ended
on the letters of Pontius Pilate. We ended that.
He was telling them about not going to the temple.
Okay, so let's go to the next spot. All right, let's speed it up. The first mention of John. Back to the letters of Pontius Pilate. Let's speed it up. Let me see. Difficulties. The first mention of John the Baptist. The first mention of John the Baptist. All right. First mention of John the Baptist. I told y'all we were going to run long. I need y'all to bear with me, y'all. I need y'all to bear with me today. The first mention of John the Baptist. It says, I thank you for your letters and especially for your zeal in defending my interests against Pontius Rufus. I warned him long ago that his new house, if built to the height, would interfere with my rights of light. The sly rascal has waited long enough to carry out his plans. Let him discover in the courts, my friend, how staunch a champion and how eloquent a counsel I possess in you. I heard last week that an itinerant preacher had turned up in the hill country of South Jerusalem. His name is John. As it appears that he was causing a certain amount of excitement and might cause more, I sent Joseph to Jerusalem on a mission of inquiry. I have given him authority, if he thinks it necessary, to seek out personally the source of the ferment and report what it amounts to. It may be nothing, but I ought to know. So now we getting into John. So now John is on his radar.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you out here doing your work, don't think that you ain't on these heathens' radar.
The dude got eye prints, face recognition, everything on.
Cause boy, they let us know last week after the Shabbat that they watching us.
Yeah.
Cause what boy, that's man, look here, tripped me out last week. I was looking up something on my phone about the European Parliament. Check this out, y'all. This is no lie. I was looking something up on my phone about the European Parliament, right? And I saw something that it said that it was a website. Now I had got access to the website. As soon as I pulled it up on Google, I clicked on it and got access to it. So I said, "Oh, I got to tell my pops about this." Got to tell my pops about this. So I said, and I said, they said 660 of the European Parliament is free. And I told him, he said, so Papa, I screenshot me or send you the website that it's on. So I hang up the phone. I told you. See, they watching.
They keep going in and
out. They watching. So I hang up the phone, y'all, and I go back to the website. I screenshotted it and sent it to my pop just so he would knew I wasn't lying. It says, your IP address has been banned from viewing this website.
So then I went immediately on it. I pulled it up on Google. And I pulled it up and shot him a bunch of pictures, images off of it before they shut me out.
Yeah. They straight up, that wasn't even 5 minutes that they had blocked my IP address from viewing their website. It wasn't even 2 minutes, y'all. It wasn't even 2 minutes. It wasn't even 2 minutes.
You got everybody on Facebook. Hey, they know who you are.
Yeah, just like they jiggling wires to this broadcast right now.
Yeah, the doggone screen keep going black, 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 coming back.
It ain't never did that.
No.
It ain't never did that. Can y'all hear me now? Put a 7 up in the room if y'all can hear me.
Good boy. It's breaking up. So he said something about that 666 seat. It's all black and in and out.
Yeah. So when we start telling the story about how they watching us, they let us know again that they watching us. They let us know again that they watching us. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, and like I told my real, now that I know that they watching, I'm really finna piss.
I'm going hard in the face. Oh, y'all ain't need that couple of weeks. And what we finna get into that couple of weeks?
Really finna
we finna, man, y'all finna be, it's finna be on.
Really finna piss you heathens off. It's really a done deal now. But like I was saying, she said they missed the story, but I was just saying how last week after Shabbat class, I was looking up some on the internet about the European Parliament and how that the 666 seat in the European Parliament is vacant. So me and Pop, we was just talking. I said, man, Pop said, send me the link to the website.
Yeah.
So I went back to the website after we got off the phone. Now, mind you, this ain't 5 minutes, ain't even been passed. I get back on the website, they straight up, it's a message on the screen that says your IP address has been banned from viewing this website.
Yes, sir.
Like, y'all, that wasn't even 5 minutes had passed before they did that. They let me know, man, these heathens is listening.
They listening and watching.
They listening. And then right after that, our feed right here just started.
Yeah, so we started talking about that, the feed started blacking in and out. Ain't never done that. These guys was sorry, man. But they let you know.
We
you
effective,
Israel,
man.
Israel, you on the hit list.
You hear me? That let me know we being effective on this
That's
channel,
it.
though.
And we finna get at them. Hey, we really finna go hard to paint.
Yeah. Yeah. So John is now on the heathens' radar. We in the next section. Further news of John. Further news of John. Let's go to the next section. Scroll there for me.
All right.
Further news of John. I have heard from Joseph. He says that the matter may be serious. And after gathering such information as is available in Jerusalem, he was going off into the mountains to hear for himself what the preacher John is saying. I wish him joy of the expedition. It is about as disagreeable a region as there is in the whole of my dominion. Bleak and barren mountains, seamed with deep ravines and water courses which lead down steeply to the valley of the Jordan and the Dead Sea. It is chiefly inhabited, so far as I can ascertain, by ill-omened birds, wild beasts, and lepers. So he's describing the wilderness. Didn't it say John lived in the wilderness?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It says, and have mad hermits. He called John a hermit. Such as this.
Sorry.
Such as they don't see the text. My bad. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, you didn't put it on there? Okay, my
bad. I told y'all, yeah, keep me on point. Boy, they typing in all caps up in there. We don't see the text. Boy, these Hebrews ain't playing. Let me get it right around here. Yeah.
Yeah, have us up before the doggone saying he.
Let me get it right up in here, boy.
He gonna deliver you up to the council.
My bad, Ema. We got it up there for you. All right, I says the further news.
You better start that over with.
Okay. It says, I have heard from Joseph. He says that matter may be serious. And after gathering such information as is available in Jerusalem, he has gone off into the mountain to hear from himself what the preacher John is saying. I wish him joy of the expedition. It is about as disagreeable as a region there is in the whole of my dominion. Bleak and barren mountains, seamed with deep ravines and water courses, which lead down steeply to the valley, of Jordan and the Dead Sea. It is chiefly inhabited, so far as I can ascertain, by ill-omened birds, wild beasts, lepers, and half-mad hermits, such as this John seems to be. In Joseph's absence, I have been examining reports of our spies in other parts of the country. Boy, they got spies everywhere.
That's their MO.
Yeah.
One of y'all. Let me be quiet. Go ahead.
It appears that John's fame is spreading, and common people are beginning to talk about him. Some of them are setting off in high expectation for the scene of the preaching. I should be glad to have Joseph's report. This is my first experience with this sort of agitation, and I shall deal firmly with it. One more word of Pontius, spare no expense. What is important is not so much that my rights of life should be protected as that Pontius should be shown to be a rascal. All right, so let's skip to the eyewitnesses report on John. Eyewitnesses report on John, y'all. We winding down. We're winding down. It says, let me make sure I got what I want. Okay. Let me see. All right, yeah, let's pick this up where it said at the beginning. What I heard from Rome makes me almost glad to be a mere procreator. A mutual friend of ours, I had better not mention names, writes to me that Sejanus not only is ambitious of marrying into the family of Caesar, but at the same time he speaks slightingly of Caesar himself, monarch of an islet. He called him the other day. Have you heard that? I scarcely dare write the words. If these things get to Caesar's ears, I should be glad that I did not owe my appointment to the favor of Sejanus. Joseph is back at last, and I have been in consultation with him and Alexander and had some difficulty in tracking the preacher down. He had to go up and down Dale in all sorts of weather and was regarded with an unfriendly eye by the Jews who were also on the road. There are many of them on the road too, most of them from Judea, but a good many from Antipas territory on the side of Jordan, and some from Samaria, even Galilee. When we did discover John, the fellow moves from village to village all the time. Do you know what he found? One of Antipas's officers who was watching John on behalf of his master. The talk was that John would be soon leaving my territory and crossing over Jordan to that of Antipas. Why would he be crossing over Jordan?
Come on now.
To baptize.
That's right. He got
baptized.
The Messiah.
That's right. I don't know whether I should give him the chance. This may be a very serious matter. John is just one of those people of whom I have been warned. According to Joseph's report, he is half clad, half starved, and half crazy. But that does not matter with these Jews. It is what he says that counts, or rather, perhaps, what they choose to think he means. That's what I was telling you about all the leaders of ours that they killed. The Fred Hamptons of the Black Panther parties, the MLKs, the Malcolm X's. You see what I'm saying? The fact that they were bringing blacks, so-called blacks, together. See, they fear the unity of us. They know how powerful we are together. Then we powerful together with these scriptures. You see that? He said it is not how these people look or what they got on. He said, but it's what they saying. Whatever that revolutionary leader is saying, that's what makes him dangerous. He said, it is what he says that counts, or rather, perhaps what they choose to think he means.
That's right.
He is telling them that the great time, the new era, which they all expect is coming. And for them, that only means one thing. No more Herods, no more Romans, no more governors, troops, or taxes. The idea of liberty, of independence, of revival, of the glorious days which they enjoyed under their old kings is that which draws them from all over the country. Joseph declares that John has only to announce that he is the expected leader, and the whole countryside will be on fire. He makes no pretense. So Joseph says that he himself is the leader, but he is doing what's almost as bad. He tells them that a leader is coming, and that soon, which is just what they are looking for. We're going to stop this section right here. Let's get into some scriptures.
All right.
Isaiah the 40. Isaiah the 40.
Put it back on.
All right. Let's get back into some scriptures.
Isaiah the 40.
Let's get back into the screen. All right. Isaiah 40, 1 through 5. Isaiah 40, 1 through 5. Isaiah 40, 1 through 5. When you get that, pick it up and read.
Comfort ye, my people, saith your power. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she has received of Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that cried in the wilderness. Prepare ye the way of the master. Make straight in the desert a highway for your power. Every valley shall be exalted. Every mountain and hill shall be made low. And the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed.
All right, so now after the voice cries in the wilderness, the crooked places shall be made straight, and the rough places made plain. Now the glory of the Lord is revealed.
That's right.
We went over in the last lesson who the glory of the Lord was, so we know who that's talking about. All right, go ahead.
And all flesh shall see it together, For the mouth of Yahweh has spoken.
Hallelujah. Yeah, let's go back to this eyewitness of John, where we was at. Let's pick it back up.
All right.
Where we stopped off at. It says, Joseph says that he himself is a leader, but on what is almost as bad. He tells them that a leader is coming and that soon, which is just what they are looking for. I have questioned Alexander about this, and he is wise and mysterious. I asked him whether this leader was the same as the deliverer or Messiah that Caiaphas has spoken of. He says no. That before the deliverer, there must come, according to their sacred writings, an advanced guard or messenger or prophet, whatever you like to call it. And that when this person arrives, then all the people will know that the deliverer himself is to come next. So what he's referring to is the prophecy in Malachi where it says, and Malachi shall come before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Now, John did fulfill that. Let's go show how. We just read in Isaiah 40. In Isaiah 40, the prophecies about what a prophecy about John preparing the way
of the Lord. Yep.
Of the Lord. Let's go to Matthew 3. Let's go to Matthew 3. Matthew 3. So Pontius Pilate, in his writings, he's saying that the people were saying that it must be some sort of prophet that must come before this delivery. Right? And these things apply to John the Baptist. That's John the Baptist is on the scene. So, Your Honor, so far we have proved that the men that wrote the scriptures were inspired by the Spirit of the Most High.
Okay.
We proved that the words of the Most High have been pure so far. We have not ran into not one contradiction yet.
Throughout the history
or the scriptures, we proved throughout the history and the scriptures of the Israelite strangers or the Israelite Gentiles through prophecy, through history, and in the New Testament.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? We proved that the Jews were scattered all over the world in the first section. We proved that they came up to the feast for Jerusalem, kept the Torah. We proved that they kept the Shabbat.
Which bears out Pentecost.
And we proved that the Messiah, that it was only the Messiah that could have came within those 490 years in the Daniel prophecy.
Come on now.
And fulfilled those works.
Yep.
Those 6 works we went over, we only touched on like 4 or 5 of them.
We proved also that the heathens are not allowed in the assembly.
Thank you.
According to the heathen.
Thank you. We proved that.
Since y'all say we hate monks.
We proved that. And we proved that we the ones who came up with the alphabet. It started with our ancestor Abraham. The heathen said it out his mouth. They went in Jubilees and proved.
Come on now.
Right? Then we proved more prophecy about the Messiah, how he was hidden and brought out at the fullness of the time.
Come on, brother.
More prophecies, Isaiah 49. Then we read to you about the pure language. He's going to clean the Hebrew up.
Come on now.
Cut out all the different dialects. And there's been more. You have now over 5 hours worth of scripture
that you can pick through and try to find fault.
That you can go through and show somebody and prove how authentic the Bible is, how authentic and real this Bible is.
But the people that's hanging on the feed, they know. But you got the naysayers. You got enough scriptures and stuff to pick through.
Yeah.
Try to find fault.
You got plenty of ammunition for the naysayers. Plenty of it. All praise to the Most High.
All praise.
Where was we at?
You told me to go to Matthew.
Matthew 3.
Yeah.
Matthew 3. Pick it up in verse 1.
All right.
Yeah.
In those days, Yachanan, the Baptist, preaching in the wilderness of Judea, and saying, "Repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah.
I must stop you right there.
All right.
Y'all ain't gonna pull this up on the screen. I'm gonna read it in the same section. I'm skipping down. It says, "I must not forget to tell you an amusing thing about John. He is telling the Jews that in order to make themselves worthy of the great days that are coming, they must humble themselves for the wicked lives which they have led. This tickles me, as it would if you knew the Jews. Most of them do not relish this part of the doctrine at all. In their own opinion, they have nothing to be humble about, nor ever have. the new age is all very well, but its business is to set the Jews above all other peoples. Humiliation is proper to the Greeks and Romans and such alike. So continue reading. I just wanted to throw that part in there.
Top of 3 again.
Yeah.
For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of Yahweh, make straight his path.
Go ahead.
The same John had his raiment of camel's hair, and of a leathern girdle about his loins.
Yeah.
And his meat was locust and wild honey. Then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all the region about Jordan, and were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins.
Now the heathen just said we don't take pride in that part of our doctrine, but look at all these people coming out confessing their sins. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O ye generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come?
Wow. So we confirm what he wrote about John the Baptist, right? So let's get another spot on John. Let's do Malachi 4 and 5.
Right.
Let's go to Malachi 4 and 5. Malachi 4 and 5. When you get it, go ahead.
Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh.
Verse 6.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Matthew 11.
Right.
Matthew 11. Let's go see how John fulfilled this. Let's go see how John the Baptist fulfilled this prophecy. Matthew 11, 1 through 6. Then we're going to skip. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Yeshua had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. Now, when Yochanan had heard in the prison the works of Hamashiach, he sent 2 of his disciples and said unto him, Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? Yeshua answered and said unto them, Go and show John again those things which ye do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. The lepers are clean, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And he blessed, and blessed is he, whosoever shall not be offended in me.
He said, blessed is he who shall not be offended.
Yeah.
So skip down to verse 11. Skip down to verse 11. Read 11 through 15.
Verily I say to you, among them that are born of women, there is not risen a greater than Yochanan the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he.
You see that? Because John, he didn't, his work, he didn't get to see the Messiah.
That's right. That's
you see what I'm saying? In his fullness. His work was finished before the Messiah even initiated the new covenant.
So did, bro.
Right? So that's why he said he that is least in the kingdom is greater than John the Baptist.
Because they saw the works of Yeshua.
That's right. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And from the days of Yochanan the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John.
Yeah.
And if we receive it.
You see that? Messiah. Now, this is coming out of Messiah's mouth. So if you saying John didn't have a fulfillment in the prophecy, you calling the Messiah a liar.
Come on now.
Go ahead.
And if ye will receive it, this is the lies which was for to come.
So this is a partial fulfillment of that prophecy. Because this was not the dreadful and great and dreadful day of the Lord. Right, but he did admit right here, he said, if you can receive what I'm about to tell you, this is Elijah. Like if you just really sit back and compare their ministry, they had similar ministries. Right? And he's talking about John came in the same spirit, had the same fiery message that Elijah had. it caused a great commotion amongst the people. Go back and look at Elijah.
That's right.
So much so his ministry was so effective, he went on a run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then look, both of their low points were similar.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So they both had similar. He came in the same spirit as Elijah, but we finna get clear right here, Luke 1. Let's get it crystal clear. Luke 1. This gonna put it plainly right here. Tell you exactly what it means when they say John was a fulfillment of that. Luke 1, pick it up at verse 11. Luke 1, pick it up at verse 11.
And there appeared unto him an angel of Yahweh, standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name Yachanah. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great in the sight of Yahweh, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink. And he shall be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and from his mother's womb. Yeah. And many of the children of Israel shall turn unto Yahweh their Elohim. That's a Malachi, ain't it? That's
that Malachi.
And he shall go before him in spirit and the power of Elijah.
Of who?
Elijah.
Also, that's what it's talking about. When we talking about when John fulfilled the Malachi 4, he was gonna come in the spirit and the power of Elijah. Right? Go ahead.
To turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for Yahweh.
See, that's what in the letters of Pontius Pilate we read that he said it was supposed to be a prophet that came. See, they was thinking Elijah literally was supposed to come then.
Right.
That ain't till later on, partner. When we got a lesson on this channel about the two witnesses.
That's right.
That showed the future fulfillment of that prophecy. Right. So let's go to the last two sections that we're gonna deal with in this letters of Pontius Pilate. Let's go to the attempt to make Yahweh Shai king. Attempt to make Jesus king. Attempt to make Jesus king. Let's go to that section. Let's see. Make the table of contents. Letters of Pontius Pilate. Attempt to make Jesus king. Attempt to make Jesus king. Okay. Let me get there. Yeah, screenshot it. 1 second. Yeah. I want to get to the spot where she was
with a wife.
Where the wife, man, was talking about Yahweh Shai, where she described how he looked and everything. I gotta read that. I believe this it. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Matter of fact, we might just finish it right here, because this would be a perfect spot to finish it off of.
Okay.
All right, so this is we in attempt in Galilee to make Jesus king. Now, this is the part where Pontius Pilate's wife, y'all, she gonna describe how he looking at everything, how Shai looked and everything. So buckle up. Attempt in Galilee to make Jesus king. A budget from you has made me happy. Ships have been delayed by stormy weather, so that several letters have arrived at once. Before I open them, I think myself important. Oh, dang. My bad. I forgot the screenshot. My bad. I need to screen. This the part I really need to screenshot. I want y'all to see this part. I want y'all to see this part.
Right
all right. It says, a budget from you has made me happy. Appreciate that, Woody P. A budget from you has made me happy. Ships have been delayed by stormy weather, so that several letters have arrived at once. Before I open them, I think myself important, occupied with weighty affairs of state, an inefficient part of Caesar's great machine. But when I read them, amen. I wish that I were again at the center of the world in the Forum or the Senate House, the theater or Sejanus antechamber amid the noise and smoke of Rome, where after all a man does live, here nothing happens, nothing at least that matters. From there nothing can arise. How much, I beg you tell me, will Rome ever know to care about Judea unless there is a war and comfortable appointments have to be found for our noble idlers and the commander's staff? There I have had my growl. Let me see whether after all I have any news to repay you for your letters. Procula, who is his wife, has seen and heard the Galilean Jesus. So his wife seen
another eyewitness.
Yeah, another eyewitness. And she's about to, give a detailed account about the things that she saw. Gets good. The plot thickens. She writes to me that as soon as they had crossed into Galilee and started on the road which runs along the west side of the lake, they began to hear of little else. Alexander the Fair was noising here and there collecting information.
They call it man a fair.
It seems that all Galilee is agog about Jesus. Everyone knows someone who has heard of someone else who has been cured of some disease or other. And the interesting thing to me is that a number of my good subjects of Judea are also in Galilee, following the preacher when they be better employed following their jobs at home. So, Yahushua had everybody hooked.
And the whole city, whole country in the uproar.
You see that? He said he had some of his subjects that were supposed to be attending to their jobs. They following Yeshua. Man, that's crazy right there. Let's show you the type of influence he had. It was like a Michael Jackson type, Michael Jordan type influence.
There you go.
Trying to compare it to something that you see somebody great in the world today. But they don't measure up to his greatness, but just giving you a picture of how it was. You had people, man, passing out when Michael Jackson was singing to them at the concerts. It says, what else?
Alexander had arranged.
Okay, Alexander had arranged as it happened for Procula to make a halt at a farmhouse towards the northern end of the lake. And as she went along, but you shall have the story in her own words, and she sent it to me. So, Your Honor, Pontius Pilate, our witness, he's letting you know that another witness, his wife, is about to tell about an account that she's seen of our master, who we claim to be King of Israel. With her own eyes. Here we go. We came suddenly on a crowd of people who were hurrying along the road in front of us and over the slopes leading down to the sea and even along the beach. Others were joining them from the paths that came in from the hills. No one took any notice of us. There were Jews of all kinds, mostly hale and hearty people. But there were sick and cripples too, who were dragging themselves along or being carried by their friends. Wonder where we heard that. The crowd was excited, gesticulating, pointing to a boat that was following the coastline and shouting to those on board. I thought at first that they were angry, but Alexander said that they were calling to Jesus, who was on board, to come to shore and to speak to them. They kept on shouting the same words over and over again. I could not make it out because it was all in Aramaic. And when I asked Alexander, he only shook his head and muttered something about it being a bad business. He would not tell me what they meant, though he told me later. When we stopped at the farmhouse, the crowd rushed on, and presently I could see them leaving the high road and hurrying down to the shore. Alexander asked permission to go after them, and I said he could, provided that he took me with him. See, Pontius Pilate's wife, she low key wanted to be an Israelite,
right?
She say, so we went with an escort. You need not be afraid. And after half an hour, we found them all in a great mass down in the sea with Jesus standing on
Matthew 5.
Yes, sir. Standing on a knoll in the field, addressing them. There were thousands upon thousands of them. And at the back, quite close to us, some groups of better dressed Jews who were standing aloof, watching and listening. Yep. Alexander took a look at them and muttered again, spies from Jerusalem. He said and went off to talk to them.
Oh, what you talking to him, buddy?
Yeah.
Because you one of them.
Yeah. So they gonna let you know he don't like what's going on. Mm-hmm. He snapped at Pontius' wife. He finna snap at her. I saw the preacher clearly. So she didn't have the boogers in her eye.
No.
She didn't say it was a blurred vision.
No.
She wasn't tender-eyed.
Come on now.
She said, I saw the preacher clearly.
Come on, brother.
He is a strange man. Gaunt and rugged. When you look gaunt up, that means thin. So he wasn't, he was lean. He was kind of frail.
But he was rugged.
Rugged. Now check this out. As though he were burnt up by the fire of his passion. So she's describing two things here, his skin color and the type of passion that he displayed. She said it's like he was burnt up from his passion.
Sound like some Revelations to me.
Sound like some Revelations 1. Let me flip that real quick.
Sir.
I'm gonna just read it real quick. I ain't got to flip there.
Yeah.
We all know the Revelation 1. We know it. Revelation 1, verses 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garment down to the foot, girt about the paps with the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Yeah.
As snow is white. His eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto brass, as if they burned in the furnace. And his voice is the sound of
She can talk about his voice now.
Yes, sir. Let's see what else she say. As though he were burnt up by the fire of his passion. When you see his face and hear him speak, he is full of self-confidence. So he wasn't one of them low self-esteem, head down, timid Negro.
Yes, whispering.
No, he was what you would call today an alpha male.
Yeah.
Walk in the room like he owned the place.
Yes, sir.
She said he is full of self-confidence, imperious, often fierce. So that totally goes against the soft homosexual like they try to display our Messiah in.
The Lion of the tribe of Yehuda.
She said this man was often fierce.
Yeah. Go slap off on him.
The crowd were noisy at first because those at the back could not hear and there were interruptions. He put them down with a few words. He was like a general among the legions, and they obeyed like common soldiers. He spoke always as though he thought no one could contradict him. He began quietly, but then raised his voice, and it became harsh and vehement. Don't that line always say he taught with authority?
That's right, brother.
Don't our scriptures say our Messiah taught with authority?
Yes, sir.
The Jews from Jerusalem were fidgeting. You see, because the scripture said they were astonished at his doctrine. It says the Jews from Jerusalem were fidgeting and muttering to each other. Alexander said he was denouncing them and their friends. I have never heard anything that sounded so passionate and bitter. Then he became quieter again and went off in a rap, as though he did not know the people were there. There was a murmuring and stirring all through the crowd, but then got angrily, and they pressed forward to him. Alexander could not take his eyes off of him. He would pay no attention to my questions. He kept on saying to himself, a better time coming, and laughed in a queer, anxious sort of way. Mm-hmm. So this was a coon.
Yeah.
But he hated the Messiah. He looking better time coming.
Yeah, you're gonna get rid of him.
So let's keep reading, y'all. It says, I thought he was quoting something that the preacher had been saying. He kept looking at the party from Jerusalem and said he must get a report to you at once. Then a curious thing happened. Jesus suddenly raised his arms and cried out something sternly. They stopped pushing towards him and sat down on the grass in a great circle around him. Except the Jews from Jerusalem who made no movement but went on watching. I tried to say something.
Yeah, that was sorry, Joe.
You see that? The man said, me on the living you up to council. Sitting up right up in your Shabbat class.
Yes, sir.
Sitting right up on your YouTube feed, jiggling wires, making the feed go in and out. That nigga's crazy.
Yeah.
We know you heathens sitting back watching.
And what? Make a move.
Well, I lost my spot talking about
then you shoot. Right at the same
okay. My bad, y'all. Boy, these heathens made me lose my spot. Then Jesus called some men who were standing close to them, and they brought him bread. Oh, so one of the scenes where Yeshua broke the fish frame is in the bread frame. Pontius Pilate's wife somewhere in the distance behind some bushes peeking, watching the whole
scene.
She peeking behind the bushes, watching the whole thing go down, y'all.
Yes, sir. Another eyewitness account from a heathen.
She said, then Jesus called some men that were standing close to him, and they brought him bread. He broke this into little pieces, so small that from where I stood, you could scarcely see them at all. He gave these to the men, and they went along the ranks, distributing them to the crowd. Who were the men he gave to distribute to the crowd?
Disciples.
Who ate them while the preacher went on talking. I wish I could have understood. All I could get out of Alexander was that the preacher was enrolling them as his followers, but that it was not a military business and at all but purely religious. The eating of the bread was a symbol that enrolled themselves under him. Do y'all hear this? What famous teaching of the Messiah can back this up?
That's it, brother. Passover.
The Passover in John chapter 6.
Yes, sir.
I'm the living bread that came down from heaven.
Yes, sir. All praise.
Let's go to John chapter 6 real quick. Woo-wee! Shots fired!
Hey. Come on now.
You naysayers ain't got no leg to stand on after the day.
No.
Let's see what I want. I ain't even put this in the lesson, but this is so powerful right here.
Yes, sir.
John chapter 6. John chapter 6. Man, I don't even know where to start, boy. This is
beautiful. Right here. Skip around. We skip on down to the 20s. You want to start at that 10, read 10 through 12.
Let's get to let's go to 38. 38. John chapter 6. Pick it up at verse 38.
For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
Yeah.
And this is the Father's will which has sent me, that of all that he has given me, I should lose nothing, but I should raise it up at the last day.
Skip down to verse 48.
Verse 48.
47.
47. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am that bread of life.
I am what?
I am that bread of life.
Yeah.
Your father did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which came down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I should give for the life of the world.
And when he was passing out the fragments, all that was symbolic of those people becoming his followers.
That's right.
Matter of fact, let's go to Matthew 14. Let's go to Matthew 14. Yeah, I know I said the last part, but man, the spirit moving, bro.
All praise.
That last part was powerful, boy. You can't get around none of what she said. Man. You can't get around none of what she said. Nothing.
Yes, sir.
Nothing. Matthew 14. Matthew was that ain't the one I wanted. Matthew 14. He did Matthew 14. Go ahead.
When Yeshua heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the city. Same thing we read in that book.
Yep.
And Yeshua went forward and saw and he healed their sick. The disciples came in but time is not paid. Seeing a multitude of ways that they may go into the villages and but Yeshua said unto them, they need not depart. Give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, we have but 5 loaves. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass.
What they sitting there? She said they was sitting, waiting, listening to him talk. Go ahead.
And took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake and gave the loaves to the
You see that? Go ahead.
And the disciples to the multitude, and they did all eat and were filled. And he took up and remained 12 baskets full. And they that had eaten were out.
So we see this one, the account that I was looking for was one that said how they was fasting with him for like 3 days. It which really shows you that those were his
You stop right there. The strangest thing was
the ceremony was finished. Everything was still for seconds. And then the crowd began to stir and talk. Gradually, they became more and more excited. Jesus said something about them, and running down the sea, they began to pull the boat close in so that they can embark again. When the crowd saw that he was going to leave them, they broke all down. They ran, crying, and shouting, and surrounded him. Some of them were brandishing sticks and clubs and knives. They were not threatening him. They were laughing. Others of them were weeping. Many of them fell down at his feet. All the time, I could make out that they were shouting the same words that I had heard them using on the high road when they were looking out to sea. I asked Alexander what they were saying. I had to shake him by the shoulder before I could get an answer out of him. He was impatient with me. King, he said. That's what they saying. King of Israel, King of the Jews, and Messiah. I am not sure what the last means, but you will know. I could see that Jesus was repelling them. He was not listening to them. He almost drove them back words and gestures. He was telling them that they had made a great mistake. He was almost beside himself. He made those who were kneeling rise and those who were ready to let them down. He was more stern and determined than he had been all the afternoon. At the same time, he began to move down to the sea as though he must escape. The crowd followed slowly in a dejected way. They seemed to be disappointed and bewildered. He is angry with them for calling him King of Israel, I said to Alexander. He has cause to be, said Alexander. He is a dead man from today. There was another incident before had been watching every moment of the crowd walk down rapidly to the hill and spoke to him. I could see that though I could not hear the words. So she said, I could see though I could not hear the words. Listen to what she said. The talk only lasted a few moments. They said something, and he looked at them, then he curtly and turned his back on them. Some of his followers helped him into the boat. I thought, afraid. He was not afraid himself. He spoke and acted as though he was ready to fight the whole world.
Yes.
That's not nasty, y'all. That's how he conducted himself.
Not no scared knee knocking Negro.
Woo-wee! It says, they were pleased about it. They came away whispering and smiling. When I left, they were going about among the crowd as busy as bees. I knew that Jesus because they kept on looking up to the sea and pointing to the boat. Alexander, who was now engaged in writing you a report upon the hall of prayer. King Israel, look at this. Let me read this. You mark the words. Yes, I know. It is only in Galilee, and likely enough, I should not myself be worried. Trust answer to it. Will you like to hear the report of the same that he says? Galilee will rise at a word, but he does not say the word. He puzzles the people even while he attracts them. He has performed strange cures, so everyone has a theory of his own about them. And it's impossible to say how much of the truth it is. The answer is that he addresses having like a clay in his hand. In controversy, no one can stand against him. He is at daggers drawn with the priests, the lawyers, and the law. He is terrible in the attack on them. He's like, man, he turned a priest a new, you know what down there. He say, he is terrible in his attacks upon them, most fierce and unturned. He will overthrow the whole system which the priest has imposed on the Jewish nation. And the priest will be for it. And the first time people are turning against him, the priest will make the end of them. God signs that they are about to turn against him now. They have hailed him as the expected deliverer, the King of the Jews. He refuses titles. This afternoon, he when they had when he drifted away. In his own mind, I believe he dreads any lest they should insist on treating him as either one or the other. Above all else, the popular ferment has been caused by the cures, and I have found by careful inquiry he tried to see what he had done to prevent the people from him to deliver. Wow. So go tell that old man what happened. He wasn't about that vain glory trying to draw the attention to himself.
That's right.
When you read, I believe in chapter 7, when his father questioned his own thoughts. Like, man, look, don't do all works and not make himself known to the world. See, that's the mindset of the world today. Do all this amazing stuff and make sure the world see you while you're doing it.
That's right.
The Messiah didn't operate like that.
No. Moved inside.
Here, they confirm it. We can read the scripture. 9.
That's right.
We're going to read this. It says,
the war was waged against.
Okay, the war which he wages is the same heathen and the Judaic law. If he persists, they will surely take his life. Their delegates on the watch today, some of them are remaining in Galilee. But I doubt whether they will be under the necessity or have the chance of taking them unless he takes them immediate flight. Pentacles will seize them. Pentacles can do nothing outside of today. I heard that Jesus has already sailed from the other side of the lake to take refuge in the territory of Herod, Philip. If he stays there, Philip will lay hands on him. He returns to Galilee. May I suggest that it would be interesting to have a report from the high priest on his view of the case. You see then, another popular hero rising to worry me and call himself king. No, you will say, he does not so. It is they who call him king. And what difference, pray, does that make to the procreator? If he values his life, he will keep out of Judea. If Antipas lets him slip through his fingers, I will not. Only one thing grieves me. He is at daggers drawn with the priests, the lawyers, and the law. I could like him for that. But a king in Judea, even one who could not be present, who would not at present be a king, a man in pure spirit, burned up by his own passion, the type of man to whom his rest is no, will not do. When he is dead, then call him king. By the way, the Greek merchant has been found under a pile of stones in the ravine outside Jerusalem. There was certainly a whole bone in his body. So you reading a few chapters back, it was a Jewess, a female woman who was a Jew had ran off with a Greek, right? Had ran off with him. It says there was scarcely a whole bone in his body. Apparently they used clubs. The story is that the Jewish has gone off to Rome with an Egyptian actor. You know how she will end. So we're going to end it right there, y'all. But it's way more daggers.
Yes, sir.
Way more daggers. We gave you just enough.
We ain't got to shoot all the bullets in the clip.
You know what I'm saying? To strengthen your defense against the New Testament and the Bible, period.
Yeah.
The Bible, period, man. So shouldn't nobody be able to some different belief system that you put this Bible down because everything is circling right back to these scriptures. Right back to these scriptures, y'all. But that's the lesson. Let me make sure I say this right. The authenticity of the Bible, history, and prophecy. I hope everybody got some understanding.
Oh, praise.
Love y'all. Let's do some shout outs. Let's
see
you all up on the chat.
YouTube, bro.
Let's see how I long today. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? With history and prophecy, man, you can't breeze through it. Nuancing it. So we got Brother Corey Yahuda, Yahoo, Shalom, Sister Tannis, Warden P.
Yeah.
The team. You know what I'm saying? Who else I'm on her? Jacqueline, Shalom. Who else? Who else on her? Who you got? Detroit. I thought it was better for y'all on the screen. Sister Tia was good. Who out on this joint?
I got Sister Rita Renee Evans.
Shalom.
Got my rib on there. She helped post some scriptures as well with Brother Corey.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. That's excellent work. Satanic David in the building. Rob and and a lot of I'm trying to scroll up. Got Drew, shout out to the building. Got Arlen Bowers in the building. Big Tank in the building. We got Sister Colette is in the building. Yeah. In the building. We got Keith in the building. We got Chris David, also known as Bus Serve, in the building. We got B. Luke, what he do is in the building. We got one of them. We got IS, period. IS is watching. I don't know what that means, but hey, all praise to the Most High. I think Trent Blake is in the building.
Shalom.
Yes, sir. Corey Yahuda, my brother.
Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, we had a lot of few brews in there. All praise.
Albert Holman checked in the group. He said he here as well on you, Shalom.
Yeah.
All right, that was it, y'all.
All right, got a few shout outs away, and then look, hey, hopefully y'all, real quick, they supposed to be opening up, some of the stuff back up. Don't forget Pentecost. Hopefully, the state parks is opening back up.
Yeah.
Hey, Pentecost is gonna be on, the end of this month. We're gonna be trying to do the thing. I know it's gonna be we're gonna change. We got to say that's we're gonna reduce man. Coming in here shortly, and then we got the feast day coming up as well. So just be out quick up, be talking to one of the sisters going crack. Still waiting on the brews to come up with a mission statement, so we need to get together on that as well. The mission statement for
12, 13, and 14.
Yeah.
My mission statement.
Try to get some baskets together for Pentecost, for some ways, brothers and sisters coming down, and then we're gonna do this t-shirt thing again, but we're gonna do it totally different this time. So we're gonna be trying to get some t-shirts together for Pentecost and some other things. The brothers gonna be having some meetings about, but I know the sisters gonna be getting together, having some meetings about the things that they're gonna be doing and bringing to the table on Pentecost as well. If you plan on coming down for Pentecost, Again, you can contact us on the Order Melchizedek Ministries Gmail account. You also got this brother's Gmail. You got my Gmail. You got Brother Ward's Gmail account. There's many ways to get in contact with us. So if you plan on coming down, you can get Brother Ward and get you some deals with the rooms and whatnot. And we still working out some other things. We got some other things planned for Pentecost. We're just not going to talk about them right now. But some things we working on. We're going to try to get involved or get put together for Pentecost. Try to make it a glorious event, praising the Most High and enjoying our family. So we got some things planned, and the Most High permission, this thing open back up. We're going to have a glorious time with our brothers and sisters. Got a young lad in the building.
Family.
Great lesson. Got your boy T Boogie. To our brothers and sisters in the faith, we salute you. Hey, y'all stay prayed up. Y'all pray for us as we pray for y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Shabbat. And we love y'all.
All praises.
All praises.
TJ, oh boy, that was a good one.
All praises.